wants to do is blow out Grimstroke.
Yeah.
Like Leash mechanic, too powerful to play against them. Not a single defensive item, just a 4-step could potentially make a big play with the Trickster Cloak that he's holding. Just be invalid in team fights. Right now they have no gem on side of Enigma. Couple of sentries on it.
And all of these tier 2 towers have been waiting for Vici Games to come and claim. It looks like if they can actually get on top of the towers down bottom and mid. But Nick making a move up top, trying to force Gaming away and more into that jungle area.
If Vici Game clean, like sports for gonna win the fight so easily. Dude, at the moment, level 25 plus 2.4 seconds for blow damage. More HP to get more damage it deals. So against Morphling, one of the best abilities games that is damage by anything is good.
Slow, Morphling. Where's he gone? The waveform's away. They're still. He wants get chased. Miracles into Earth mode. Time to late jump. Get quite caught him and he got no chance to spell anyway. 11 Poyo. He might probably have to get chase for now. That's given a bit of time here for Enigma to grab some additional items that Gibeon like. And it feels like they might want to go out and smoke across the map themselves. Or having to address that top lane, who contend for the push from Enigma. And pop waving consistently. Vici Gaming have to keep the back of the lines at all.
I love this build on Ori. Just all in. Does not have single defensive item. Finds a spell prism, because why not? Why wouldn't you lower the cooldown on all of your abilities? Plus Dagon.
Miracle. There you go. Down to about 500 HP or so. But it's like we at the end of the start of the game, isn't it? Vici Gaming is very much all in. Once they commit real hard for targets, for kills, and for team fights. Having the organization that follows through on it feels really good.
And what, Gary? Backtrack talent, 20% now available on Faithless Void, so things could get tricky. Let's say you dodge blade damage. Thank you. I'm gonna go in a game off.
Super powerful stuff. And they've got the double outpost again. Real strong presence on the map from Vici Gaming. And incision. Much that late board and in their own trial was key, so they don't see much maneuver with Vici Gaming and pulling it in now. Still a while for that next approach out of sport. Around 3 minutes it looks like. The potential Miracle. Just as reclaimed, DD Void Spirit front lines for it. Don't jump yet.
A bit limited on tower damage for Vici Gaming, that's why they are backing the Clockwork and follow up the Morphling.
That's deboarding everything. We've got double walls now in that top jungle area. It looks like a bit of that fire. A nice little freebie there. Void Spirit. With that DD still going.
Kuro, thanks one for. And
someone needs to get that
500 gold he got for that kill.
Oh, really? It's a solo kill.
Solo kill by Ori, level 27, so he's got other talents on top of it. Already has some mana reach plus the damage available.
I saw an arcane blink bring out well, so
over the cooldown.
Yeah.
That's all this is about. Has a spinning charm on top of it. 10.6 seconds on the Vorce Stomp. Final Blade 3.5 seconds. Duration 0.2.
Yeah, for that Doom is real huge for Alban. Merrick is lurking in the shadows. The illusion, cape illusion. Immediately zapped by the one of Ori. Making a stand there against Miracle. Still a bit good job for Small Thing to get farm out of the map, which has been floating in around them for the past 10 minutes. But it honestly feels like this next fight is gonna just end the game one way or the other. People are gonna run towards the buildings and
we still have buybacks. 9 of the 10 heroes will have a buyback available soon. Only one who's not close is Mock Control on the Dark Sphere. A lot of
There's a Scythe of Ice. They come out. You don't get the finish. Damage help him to slip away from MC and Miracle.
Miracle playing a different game understands that they're in a spot where he needs to do Miracle stuff and decides to buy Hex on more something we don't see.
No. Well, yeah, they've been struggling with that catch and kill. And like GA like not able to really offer them that consistently. For the start of the step helping out. There's been very good defensive play from Nigma when they know they're behind, they know they need something fantastic to come out of
No
Morphling.
No Lord Swords on Nigma, just to turn it back to Doom so he can get another Doom off, which should potentially be pretty big. And be able to remove the silences, remove time dilation, faces void, pick up the shard. There's so many mean stuff in game right now, like Clockwork with his shard, and now we have one filtered up here. It's revived. I wish I had this Vine. When I said something stupid during the cast, say it.
Anything stupid, I don't think.
No.
More fling illusions, content with Bobby. No problems there. But it's a very map to be in. And Nigma are the ones moving out, shrink lanes and continually pushing with icon balls with a Morphling, itchy game. I want to find these fight. It's like a desperate scrambling. They're not in a rush to do things. They're still looking at a perfect pick-off which can swing them into an objective or a Roshan or a high ground push. Quite a delicate to do.
23k gold lead for them. I think some higher levels, higher level 5. Not as talented he gets.
A deep off. Want to do something with it? That question. Do you want to go out and play the map with it? Team, or do you want to sit back a little bit more? You go now.
He does.
Shifted already. What's going there? Stars on the voice there now, but he get himself away and chases up. Back to RW, finally like it. And looks still step. The ball alongside the buy catches the Doom Ring, but Miracle, he's into his own goal. The Miracle ball, tap him with it on. Kill, but that is a statement of 10 feet. This is their game, their map to control. Nigma has no right to be playing down in the bottom line.
You have one of the best heroes in the game, in the late game. You have Chronosphere, you have Voltface, now have double Doom, triple Doom, even more Dooms. This hand and that Faceless Void is gone to. Approach, it. 5 seconds.
Oh yeah.
But they should poke, like they should try to poke, see what happens.
Trying to bonus kill him, maybe. No, he's in line. And 3. So, another kill. Second streak. GH. XC. Shot and vacuum there. BK. To rock, but it cancelled the budget. So let's bring it down. Something going his way.
Like you did not expect the aggression from up in position 4, where only one's alive at the moment. They get picked up.
Still gonna have to do this. Actually, jump into their base. Look at mid lane. That old creep coming into tip. Left the knife going. Voice getting to. Really, actually, let's deluxe in inside football. 11. To right, and it's the authorities. Buybacks are available. Nigma.
And that's why again, if they probably need to fight back if you want to contest a Roach, because Roach is holding stuff now for a free item for them.
Absolutely dull that Roach. There are the buybacks as next. Rocket flare down. You get his move out. Back to control as we go. Not take any risks here, are they? No, they're so extensive. They are scaring what I hit right now.
Which is very fatal in terms of making experienced team how to win. Like, they love to play these type of games.
The spirit illusions. Like trying it takes on the end, and they are in this room.
Already used, man.
It comes play. Oh, it's well timed on it. Catch, waffling out. Duke on the over. Get out. Come on. Travel company carpet. The ball back in. Do now. Get back my controls. Miracle. But out of the boy spirit. Done to active now. Struggling in this one. No backs on him. It's a 5 versus 3 as each could think about moving up ground.
The cogs that just not enough damage. So the way to tank you with all the armor that he gets from the items, and then go spend and 40k gold lead. 14.
40k that works lead down. So a refresher shot. You want to tell you and you well banks there. Oh, rush scourge.
So a lot of chaos frontline going out. You can't really focus. That's so 8 plus extract on top of it.
And are you worried getting like at all?
No, pretty sad right now, Gary.
Just think is like magical. Just, at this point, you think they've got so many items, it doesn't feel like that's gonna be an issue.
51k gold.
Monumental for Richie. You want one. I got easy move back to the hot ground. Now, really thinking about this fucking up. Probably I think left in them. As Vinci Gaming have about 7 or 8 heroes, maybe even heroes worth of spender and out. So you strike a whole back and reset again. Very movement.
Doctor cooldown. Bell Prison Dagon is still second cooldown with Bell
damage.
It's more than that. I still acting close was what.
It's gone by. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radio team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Like, he doesn't bully the lane necessarily well. He doesn't have any stuns.
Yeah.
Post Necrobook nerf, it definitely seems like Lycan has suffered the most.
Yeah. Just look at Miracle's items. Like, this man was playing without boots for the final 15 minutes of the game. And the items, like, he's trying to literally carry this game by himself. And meanwhile...
I mean, Ori's going Beast Mode too.
Yep.
Dagon 5 Void Spirit, let's go. That was a very, very exciting item build to see. It
No
was...
BKB.
No BKB, and when you don't have stuns on the enemy team, why do you need a BKB? That Orchid caught him by surprise, and I thought that was a clever build from ILTW to go for it, but that was like it was a one-trick pony. After that, got the Lincolns online, I was like, I don't even need to worry about this Orchids.
Yeah, I think I just want to go back to the predictions, obviously, because the draft was not something that we expected. I mean, going into this one, Neil, you were really the person who was just like, hey, look, when I look at Vici, I expect consistency, and then you saw a little bit of a draft that you didn't expect,
Sure.
which made you feel a little bit less optimistic about that first game. Plays out a little bit differently. What actually causes that difference, though? Does it come down to the draft, or is it actually execution that is a red flag for you going into the second game of our best of two?
The red flag was the composition of the 5 heroes together, but they're all comfort heroes for Vici Gaming. Like, Doom's a great offlaner. The only thing is Earth Spirit I haven't seen too much of in Vici's hands, but it's still a very, very consistent hero. And so, while all 5 of them I was skeptical on the same team would be able to pull it off, each of them are superstars in their own right, that they're able to carry it individually. And so, like, Ori on the Void Spirit, Poyo-Yo on the Faceless Void, and Old 11 on the Doom, and then obviously it's Sportio that I was hyping up very much in the pregame. I think that they did a fantastic job. Meanwhile, while Lycan is comfort for ILTW, it's not meta right now. And you can step out of the box a little bit, but even in, like, Pro Tracker, we're not seeing Lycan Beastman. There's nothing that we haven't found out about the hero yet.
When we see them play, all 3 cores of Nigma aren't really able to do things with one another. Like,
Yep.
it's just Miracle trying to get solo pickoffs. Darkseer, Lycan, it's nice to have an Ion Shell, but your max move speed when you're Wolf form, you don't need a Surge. And there's no follow-up stun for MC's Vac. The 2 supports ultimately will fall off, and I don't know if it's as much draft, like we've been talking about. Like, Vici's a fantastic
For sure.
team. They're arguably top 6 at this tournament, and they're here in the wild card. So, it hurts, but ultimately there are 2 teams that's going to advance. It is a 2-game series, so if I'm Team Nigma here, maybe I save Miracle's hero for a little bit later in the draft. Yeah, Morph doesn't fear Doom too much, but it's still not ideal.
Just to catch everybody up too, in case you're just tuning in right now, just to really make sure that you understand the stakes here. This is for the wild card. This is the first series that we're watching here on the B stream. If you want to keep everything tuned, I believe they actually changed it to a squad stream, so you can jump in between everything. We're going to be watching a total of 8 series today, and those 8 series are all going to be best of 2. So we're going to jump into that second game right now. What do you want to see Nigma do differently? You said that it might not just come down to draft, but what do you want to see them do in that draft?
Well, first, just remember, Dire stream, not the B stream, Rich. We're not on the B stream. It's Dire stream.
It's Dire.
Sorry, I just looked at you. I assumed the title.
I think they had the right archetype. Ultimately, I don't think there's too much as far as like individual flaws you could point out. Like, they just got out macroed. You know, that was the first item Midas on Doom. You're playing against the Void. I think the biggest surprise for me was just Ori on Void Spirit. Like, we haven't seen that in Europe or Eastern or Western Europe, the regions I've been covering. Nobody's been playing Void Spirit like that. Like, no BKB, all damage. And the Grimstroke ultimate, if it landed, the Doom, double take on, like, there's no team fight. So maybe that's what you look to change, because ultimately, they went back to that old style. If you remember, like the TI-7 Liquid, playing the corners of the map, hiding in the trees, forcing skirmishes. I don't think you're going to be able to do that against Vici Gaming. They're going to team fight you. You're going to have to take a 5-on-5, and if you don't have the tools to even be combative without buybacks, that's a tough game.
Yeah, and even, like you said, the DNA is still there in Nigma, and Vici Gaming were content to let Nigma do it. They had like a 25k net worth advantage on Vici, and Nigma was the one pressuring the map, pushing all the lanes, and Vici's like, that's fine, dude.
Yeah, good luck.
Do whatever you want. We're still going to win the game in the end. We're going to wait for the next Roche. We're going to wait until we find an opening, because the pressure's on you to find something. So if you can maybe draft more stuns, I think that would be a good direction.
That's a great point. I'm a big fan of
Just keep
stuns.
it simple.
Yeah.
Simple, stupid.
When your Lycan has to buy an Orchid to try to kill the Void Spirit,
Right.
you probably have some issues. Your Morphling has a sheep. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough.
I'm okay with letting Miracle be a 1v9 kind of carry, though. I think that that's part of the excitement of sending Miracle back to mid, is that he was always in his element in that sort of scenario. And it feels like there's a lot of Nigma just like walking around doing nothing, but I think that that's when I like Nigma the most, is when Miracle's like, I got this, guys. You just make sure that you don't botch the early game too hard, and I'll take us to the late game.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the catchphrase that Kyle's been saying already throughout the tournament, even though it's just the first series. Do you think that you saw any of that? We're still trying to piece together what the meta is going to look like a little bit. Do you think that you were right in what you were saying earlier, which is control the armor, control the game?
It wasn't as
Prominent.
This was more, I think, just about 2 other catchphrases. Pick stuns. Don't not pick stuns.
Okay.
The game's a lot easier. That's the only way that you can be as good as Miracle. If you're both stunned, you both have equal control over
I
your
have heard
characters. That's a good one. And other than that, it's the need to be able to take 5-on-5 engagements. We really didn't see Nigma win a team fight without using buybacks. And sure, that can get you like an objective, but I think there was a scenario where the Void was dead without buyback. Like, that's your window.
For like 80 seconds.
Yeah, you have to win the game off that. You have to get 2 racks. You have to do some serious damage. And if you back too soon, take a little win, like, you've basically now rendered yourselves incapable of taking a win for the next 7 minutes. Because with Doom off cooldown, Chronosphere off cooldown, you will lose the fight. You need the buybacks, and you have maybe 1 or 2 times in the game where you have to spend them and get a massive edge off of it.
Now, I hate to do this to you because, look, I'm sure chat's going to remind me very quickly, NA Math, lol W, but I know you've been looking at the Monte Carlos quite a bit. I know you've been looking at the other people doing math. You haven't been doing the math yourself. But when we look at this first best of 2, before we actually get into the draft right now, folks, how important is this? Like, how important are the stakes already? It's a little bit weird to start off the tournament and be like, yo, this is a pretty important series. This is one of the more important series that we're going to see over the next 2 days to figure out the 2 teams that are going to make it out of the group that we have in the wild card. But when we look at Vici, when we look at Nigma, how important is this first series? Is splitting absolutely paramount here? How important does it actually feel to you?
So in European DPC, I think week 1, Nigma beat Secret
2-0.
2-0. So Secret may be a little bit under control. That was only week week 1
That was
of
eight,
DPC.
that was 8 weeks
It
ago.
was 8 weeks ago, so don't know how much stock you can put it in, but they're competitive.
This once again is just like how different
Yeah.
everything actually feels. When you look at the league, it's like, man, like I've lost so many inches on my hairline in this time between the last time that they've actually
Only the
played.
front. I see the back is longer than ever.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh, look at that luxury.
That's what I've been working on in the year that I've been gone. Just desperately trying to get my hair back. But yeah, no, I think it is really obvious right now how different it really does feel to be at this major. And while looking at what do we look at as the barometer for how these teams are going to play against each other? Because for some of these teams, even in the same region, it feels like it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
And then obviously having this cross-regional play feels very unique right now.
So for Vichy, I wouldn't have been surprised. My prediction was that Nigma would lose this series because Vichy, my front runner to make it out of wildcards. Against IG, you may look at them and be like, oh, they're Singapore major winners. Obviously, it should be free for them. They're getting a little lazy, and the Chinese DPC, that's why they're here in the wildcards,
Yeah.
because they weren't really on their A game. So I think that Nigma could take that one.
Yeah, and you also look at Secret, where sure, Nigma took them down 2-0 a while back, but that was a very lazy Secret. Like they pretty much locked up their TI invite, they were chilling, but you could definitely see like the ego kick in mid-season. Secret started trying a little bit harder. This is much more of a team in form. They've been here for a week. They haven't been on vacation. They've been scrimming, so I expect them to come out and be tough. And if you lose this match, that basically makes every series from here on out for Kuroki and the guys a must-win.
Yeah.
It is a must-win. 2 teams out of 6 advance.
They're in such a must-win situation. It's like, obviously, when you look at a major like this, you very much see the arcs. You see the anime arcs, right? You start in Wildcard, it's like your tuning exam, right? Then after that, I forget what happens after
We
that.
have a time skip after that.
Yeah,
Then it
dude,
goes to
it's
group
time
stage.
skip group stage. Did we have 2 time skip anime right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have like those 3 clear moments, those 3 clear beats. But in all of them, when you look at Nigma right now, they need to finish in top 2, essentially. So they got to make it all the way through Wildcard. They got to make it through groups, and then they got to come out basically on top to ensure their spot to try to lift the ages.
It's basically just storyline building, right? Like it wouldn't be the hero's journey if they just started crushing from the beginning. They've got to
Right.
get to the equivalent of the loser bracket in the wild card, which is perhaps just being a series down.
Which
Maybe even
TI had the freest journey for the champion? Wings looked good for like at least 3 months before TI6. And so they were expected to be favorites for TI6, I think.
up there.
And then I think both the OGs were underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, favorite is TI8OG ranked 18th.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
I did not expect to hear that name at this major, but it looks like we are going to be getting into our draft. Let's take a look. Let's see if we get more in line with what you guys expected, because I'm going to be honest, your predictions were not accurate.
I got this series
After
prediction,
game
all right?
1.
We'll wait for the game 2 to play out.
Let's see what happens.
The only thing I'm sure of, Rich, 18 teams all around the world, nobody knows what to expect except Alliance is going to win the major. But
yes,
we're
of
going to see
course.
them, of course, in the playoffs. They won't even be on screen.
Playoffs, you're going to see them in grand finals. What do you,
True.
I mean, like, playoffs is a surefire thing. Upper bracket, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. It's already done.
2-0.
2-0.
Did I
Sorry,
I
that's
feel
okay,
like
they
I
won't
feel like
be
I'm missing something because I've been gone. I don't
No,
know.
no. This
I've been
is-
trying to stay in touch with you guys, but you just don't answer my emails.
You got to stick to Twitter
Not as good
DMs,
as
man.
reading
That's
them.
where the real fast-paced communication.
I actually DM'd Team Secret, and they didn't get back to me.
Oh, what a shame.
No, I was pretty mad at them. I'm going to be completely honest.
We get AA Puck. So this goes back to not physical armor, but magical armor reduction. You get the Vortex, a lot of Puck burst damage to come out. That is a Grimstroke and a very thick tiny.
Yeah, that dude's been hitting the gym. That's
Yeah.
a level 18 tiny right there.
It's like a lizard cosplay.
So they don't go for the straight up Soulbind combination. Doom was still available. They don't see the necessity to push it in first phase. And I'm surprised with the AA first pick, because Morphling's banned out, so you didn't really need to worry about that.
And look at this as well. Nigma, they rotate a bit to a half and half with, I believe that's mind control behind
Oh,
Kuro.
the draft structure right now?
ILTW has switched chairs.
Interesting.
that was MC's chair before game 1. So perhaps a little bit of role swapping going on.
I will say that I prefer ILTW on team fighters, and they put him on a Lycan, and so maybe he was getting involved. He's like, "Yo, it's cool, man. Like, I'll win the lane, I'll push it." And he's like, "Okay, ILTW, you sit back. We're gonna give you Juggernaut. It's fine."
I mean, I just like this will likely be the miracle puck, and I think that this is. I mean, who knows how many more times we'll see it? We got to so the next 2 days play out, but this is well, we really haven't seen Miracle play for years. He has not really been on playmakers very often throughout these DPC seasons, throughout the last couple of years. He's almost always playing that hard farmer priority, and
even
kind of like this.
This hero specifically, I remember Tigov went on quite a rant on how China does not care about puck.
Not at all.
And I can confirm that after even, because that was like a week 2 speech that he made.
Yeah.
Week 3 through 6, it remained consistent. Puck is not particularly popular these days. They ban out Templar Assassin, which we think is on the come up, so don't need to worry about that. But I see Leshrak be picked a lot. I see DK be picked a lot against Puck. Sure, Miracle on a playmaker. I'm hyped to see it. It's not necessarily what we've been known to his signatures, but hopefully they have a better plan for ILTW, because I think his hero in game 1, that Lycan, just was not able to carry as much as it should have from
we were not liking the Lycan. One thing though, consistently we heard in preparation for the tournament from any of the teams that we got a little bit of information from beforehand was TA going to be very important. We're going to see teams have answers to TA. Does not seem like those answers are ready. It seems like just consistently banning TA, something that we're going to see in this best of 2. Rasta. Kyle, how do you feel about the Rasta here?
It's excellent. You always want to have a hex mechanic against Puck. Lion, Rasta, both ideal, because you also have that secondary disable.
Both ideal, so why the Rasta instead of the Lion?
Um,
Because I've been seeing Lion be far more popular, not just in
True.
China, but in all regions.
maybe just for a bit of the tower pressure.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you always go for, but like,
Stronger laner to an extent with Tiny as well. You can use some
yeah.
cool mechanics where you just drop wards, Tiny hits tower, and you've got a very strong fortification that can be placed offensively. Less, I guess maybe you're just less fearful of the enemy 5 position as well. You already see the AA.
yeah, so Lane, don't know where this Tiny is going to go.
Oh, 2 direct disables, although Shackle with Grim
Shackle has a cast animation, but you
But
do
it
get
doesn't
you do get double wrist shackles with Soulbind.
There you go. Because obviously Lion's stun.
Yeah, it'll have a
like
travel
this
time
name?
for the projectile.
Yeah.
The other spike to travel, so that's true. Better synergy. But you miss out on double finger, which would have
That's
been
true.
pretty good.
What do you miss out on?
Double fingers. Write that down. It's not in this game.
Oh, let him see it.
So you said no double. All right, so we're gonna.
We moved on. Look at the draft.
Yeah, I already saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't even need to look. I was just like, I'm not gonna have that oversight here. Dark Willow gonna be locked in. Obviously, something that we've seen in the meta a whole bunch. But
Yep.
what are you expecting here on the side of VG? It was actually Neil. You were the one who said a little bit earlier that you were putting a lot of pressure on the support duo in the drafts. But what else are you looking for here?
I need to know where this Tiny is going. I think Tiny does well against Puck mid, so I'm hoping that it's going to be an Ori mid Tiny. Poyo can go for the Faceless Void again. Oh no, never mind, it's banned out.
I love the synergy though. Like we saw this again. It's in EU. Like EU Western was all about Puck. It was consistently first 2 banned, first 2 picked. And this was a combo that we saw come out later in the season where you get the huge AoE fear from Willow after coil's been placed.
Snap it.
Pretty easy to hit there, stuck in the coil, and a lot of the damage, almost all the disable, like that's from the snap of the coil. If you can force that, that's huge to win a team fight, especially when you consider how squishy that support duo is for Vici.
Yeah, I would be down for a jug from Poyo.
Oh.
They pick Centaur into Puck.
Okay, so a natural pipe buyer and a very tanky frontliner, but relatively susceptible to the magic burst that Nigma already show,
Yeah.
although he will probably just buy a hood.
Sure, especially since Vanguard got nerfed in the D patch.
True.
Because it used to be like, no matter what, even if there was match damage, it's like, I'm getting that 6-minute Vanguard, no matter what. Here, I guess, yeah, hood is a higher priority, but I still don't really like Stampede against Coil. It was a pretty common response in 7.29c in China,
Wow.
and now this Dark Willow is looking like she has tons of combos.
I was gonna say we said we needed more team fight.
Yeah.
They said, okay, you want a team fight?
Bro, this Stampede is not getting you anywhere. You're stuck.
Game
Coil,
two's
Arena.
looking completely different than what we actually did see in game one. But once again, Tsunami, we're in a situation where I'm curious, how are you feeling about Vichi's draft here?
I'm not as skeptical about it. Yet again, the question mark that I had last game was the Earth Spirit. Here it's the Shaman in terms of heroes that I don't see particularly frequently, but I have confidence in Vichi's teamfight execution. Nigma had minimal teamfight execution in game one, and so I'm much happier with their comp, even though I preferred it in game one also, because ease of execution, term that's commonly thrown around. This is a very easy teamfight to execute.
It's the Bulba coefficient. How many team fights are necessary for a team to win the game?
Okay.
And if you're in a scenario where you just need one and that's it, and the other team needs 6 or 7, then typically the team that only needs the one engagement is going to be favored. In this case, I don't think both drafts look solid, right?
We still need to see the
Both
carry
a lot of time
heroes.
to
We need to
prepare.
see the scaling potential. So Poyo generally prefers later game carries. ILTW generally prefers mid game carries. I still think Jug is good for both teams, honestly. Vici Gaming, Jug being able to spin out a Coil and Arena would be nice. Lifestealer's banned out by Vici Gaming. Meanwhile, Nigma are banning out Terrorblade and Phantom Lancer, so Illusion heroes. Just surprising, because I feel like they have pretty good Illusion clear on Nigma. Unless there's a carry that they want to go for, like Ursa, who doesn't deal well with illusions.
You know what we could see out of Nigma? This is a pretty nasty Drow game.
Yeah.
I've seen that hero picked up a little bit more.
Drow, you said?
Yeah, with PL out of the pool. Gives you the tower pressure the draft is missing right now.
Only because I'm seeing Tinies not get Dagger as early as they used to. Because otherwise, if it does be a mid-Tiny on Ori with a Dagger Rush, then I do think Drow could get a little bit pressured with Stampede as well. But I think that a ranged core would look really nice for Nigma.
Yeah. Some of that reigns in damage. You want to be able to pretty much just explode anybody caught in either an arena or a coil. And the way that Vici have their lineup set right now, it's about absorbing damage, not avoiding it. So you want to have something that really threatens the Tiny or the Centaur if they're the ones you're forced to target, because that's likely how they're going to play it out.
Okay, so they do go for the Ursa because that's why they banned out all the illusion carries.
That's an Ursa.
That's an Ursa. And it's probably going to be an Ursa Diffusal because that's the only play that you play Ursa these
Oof.
days. And Poyo-Yo
Nasty.
Spectre.
All right, now that we have all of the cards in front of us, how are you feeling this time around, Tsunami?
It's way more even, at least on paper, for me. I don't think that... Okay, so if we go with teamfight coefficient, now that Vici have a late game carry, that coefficient gets higher.
Yeah.
You need to win more team fights because they cannot push particularly quickly on Nigma. No one hits towers.
Nobody. That's the big concern I've got right now, because once again, Vici, they're buying insurance. They're saying, look, we get this to 30, 40 minutes, you're going to be in some serious trouble. Spectre has a dream game right now. AA, Willow, Puck, like these heroes hate to just be all of a sudden ulted on, shadow stepped on later on in the game with the shirt. Like, you're in big trouble if this game goes late enough. And to Tsunami's point, like, the big fear is that once again, Nigma do not have any natural methods of pushing towers. Meanwhile, Vici, yeah, they have more of a late game lineup, but they're just going to run a strength hero down a lane and drop wards and dare you to defend a tower.
All right, what's the key thing to look out for, Tsunami, as we jump into this second game of our best of two?
If Nigma win, it's going to be really fun to watch because it's going to be a lot of flashy team fights. And if they lose, it's going to be very boring because Vici are just going to avoid every single fight. Spectre's going to get huge, and she's going to carry the entire game.
All right, so if Nigma wins, it's going to be very much like... actually, you know what? I'm not going to make the analogy. I was going to make actually the worst anime analogy.
Thirty seconds to battle. 不是，你怎么这么能装呢？
Core in the end, and in this particular game, he is the king. Because you're playing in the Dark Willow, Puck, and Ancient Apparition, these heroes are just food for you. Like one combo, you delete these heroes, keep repeating it, hashtag repeat, and keep going in and out. Also, it's a good matchup for Tiny on a mid lane with the addition of the Water Rune, so he can push it the wave, use Avalanche, grab top, toss, and then just outpush the wave. Enigma, on the side, they have a good combo, and they have great ways to deal with the Centaur, especially Stampede, the Coil, Arena, so the 2-month value of it, they have a great combo. Either it's or terrorizing the Coil to break
That ice blast rolls up.
Start is strong hero, one of the strongest offlaners right now for sure. It just doesn't feel as strong when you're looking at the apparition.
Ooh.
PH.
Yeah, with BY already having a bit of a jungle. Up Willow. Always gonna with market balls at distance. First blood, very early spillage there. As Vici Gaming losing out their support in the left. It does give a little bit of freedom for Poyo, though the secure creep, but of course important. Deuce. Come back to think about combos and things like that. Like you said, it's going to be difficult for the Stampede. But they've also got that toss from Tiny as a defensive mechanism as well. It's not just that offensive capability, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially it could save people out of the arena with toss. Like as they're standing on the edge, you can toss them out of it. Other heroes, they don't get out. So it's a good start for Enigma because Mind Control got that first blood, and what was he bringing? Just a casual bracer.
Okay.
Love me some bracers. Damage. HP read. Remember when Strength gave you
Status resistance, yeah. I try not to remember that, but unfortunately I do. But that was still when I played a lot of Invoker, and my god, it was a pain in the ass trying to get combos out when everyone's got different values of status resistance, dropping tornado every couple of seconds. But yeah. It's a great start for Enigma because that's what we need to get the ball rolling as early as they can and connect into these early to mid-game team fights. It looks like we do have just a little bit of a quick pause coming through. Now, thinking about Game 1 and the similarities here in Game 2.
I'm dead.
Alright, steady bomb baby.
And he's going into Hood, which is okay. There's a ton of magical damage that they got. I'm wondering what's his next item was going to be. Battle Fury is viable anymore. Fuse Blade is the thing. That's something that China has kind of back when Fury got nerfed.
Is that allowing you to play faster?
Yeah, you come online so much faster than the first Roche. Second Roche gets stuff done on the map. It's more damage compared to Battle Fury, where you just want to farm. You get the Battle Fury, you're not fight ready.
I think that's something Pat brought up as well. We lost Enigma and they are playing very, very speedily. We'll see if RTW can pick up the pace with that Ursa build. He's been talking about face up against the old and Centaur and PY Water Shaman. This is the bait coming slowly. They've got like 155 hit down between the two of them. Pretty ridiculous. Dying and all that good stuff.
PY Shaman was during the first season the Shaman player, without a doubt. He done some stuff. There's a few. I've also played quite much, but Shaman is thing to always be feared. And, you know, this game is both supports on both sides are not gonna have good. If let's say Puck is the first jump, yeah, arena or shred that and goes for Tiny going in on support going up. So feel in this game we will out of back from positions and fire, so you win the.
I think I was mentioning the ability for Vici to set a strength core down and have that threatening with wall. Got great ways to bait it stuff like Shaman or Centaur shows and the horns turns around. I think they might have to be very much on their toes and maybe we can see some early ability, whether it's Blink Dagger, the Scepter to be able to cateract Vici Gaming's game in that regard. And the mid lane probably just going to be a fun trade for them. Oh, it's tiny against the puck.
Much better than I expect. There's a full, I mean, it's a pretty even match. It can go both ways if any like a rotate. Ruin and he's struggle a bit, but I can also throw Ellen Puck with his combo.
So far down. You want first dip. Now it's an alpha. So wait. Oh, you know this. Right, Leighton, going to come to the out the Instones, but pops the water and a little 55.
I've seen different L's. I can't go for max chat.
All 11. All snap. He turns. Double it. Trades his life. That officer off. Get off. He done.
This is a killer look for each game. Retaliate, I think he need like right now, but your builds, but when you someone who can disable them. Back. I've seen G tracking this all this round as well for 1 point from Bramble, 1 point Aircraft. I'm a big fan of Purple Maze where Bramble gets them maxed out. I don't think you get from Shadow Realm Wolves what he decides to go for, just more control. The damage, like direction as well, is up.
Yeah, especially with you know, shooting people through brambles, getting stunned, set up beautifully in a lane for themselves. Or, you know, like an even match in the mid lane. We'll wait for that kind of sick moment where they decide to rotate and come into the side. Still a good for so
Low, ups the water rune ahead.
turn it back on. Tiny. Forward.
He's fine as a bottle. Very. There needs to be careful now. Spell the cooldown or no. Wants to be. You would move someone dies. One of your lanes or they die. Cut lane of the bottle. I think.
No, you can pop. Something I'm outrageous. If you like to die, come and refill the bottle. Anchor position 5. Stand. All refills. All they do, catch on City. There's the call for the GX and Miracle hitting level 6. As Dobby thinking about key chains was all 11 wanting to play the lane, not act away by the pesky support.
You gotta say, Old Woman has been more stable. One of my doing fancy stuff, game or standing like these type of players. Yeah, but he's been more stable lately. Just of technical examples.
Yeah, for quite a while, some a bunch of ice fights, like you say here, these real crazy plays, was able to get and cause.
I always say about 11, whether he is the best at the or like it looks like the worst one, and no between.
But yeah, he's become much more steady, saying as of late, as we gather back into the time. Yes, and Tiny's in, it does go what he's got to his orb. Now, snaps him down and he takes down with a shot. Tiny and Shadow Darwin both here. The Shark will up, but Venaska, a hasten run away. Oh, 11. Close to death.
Oh, doesn't sure. That was close. Been caught by a mana boots.
GH, I don't know. It looks like he's taken down regardless of the one on the drop.
Rain drop. Also flops cat. It's on support the count. Exactly. Tiny counter.
He's in left low for a decent time. Top of the good early lanes as well. 3,100 net worth for him. So, is it going to be all good first or plan MC?
For MC, I wouldn't mind seeing bulk into Hood. Decides to go for it. Now he has a weight blade, which I'm fine with. Just to be able to.
How's it work? Oh, repulse them. Lunch to stop any attempt to jump up to his high ground. There's the gang. Also wanted to try and scout out attacks in the Radiant Triangle area soon. Maybe get some vision down.
It is level 6 and extra, but does not have as power. One of the has one mango to work with. Use it on make a fight.
Yeah.
Global presence is for video gaming with the same anti-blinking aim. You follow the same, possibly so very minimal.
So everywhere on the map. Willow. I'm not even from the onslaught of this W Shadow Shaman ranks. It slips the Dark Willow away. That's that deep in the coil of PYW uses the miracle. Upwards, yeah. Still looking around. Yes, found kill. He survives.
GH is level 6 and it's in. The rain already expanded every single round. I would not be surprised if he decides to buy another.
Dire's top
The
tower
raindrops keep him going. He's with that current down. Looking up towards the top lane. He doubles farm. He's got phase boots. Heading in.
Plus, it's top of it's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of agents being at the tower, 11%.
11. He's going to slip in the trees. Went for Vang himself. Looking for that backguard hoodie. Blink dagger.
You stand from centaurs these days. You're gonna be able to sort of get early, but there.
Still agree with it. Little toss back towards it.
Again, they have multiple heroes that benefit from Inksfall. Have any one of the best ones. He, the blinker and I'm a big fit. Tiny's not updating boots. The blink dagger.
Help away. He slapped.
That was not quick enough for PY.
He's gonna get Double kill the Miracle while free. Get away from the complete vortex. GH trades him up for this. 2 kills. Big flame. The camp of the level 4 Waning Rift.
They needed shackles straight away. PW not executing perfect hexing, but using shackles straight away. Gives enough time for Cloak to use the camera. Still no harm, but not even a point. Just X out the he's in their stuff, Parcher, Blackmail, Mantis style, most body just tank up, maybe even anti-diffusal blade. I'm a big fan of a diffusal blade in patch particularly, because it just feels really tough. You gotta get close dagger. Control arena failed.
So very much. H. The slip early is again out of the grass. G gaming. I walk back 4 heroes brought down to the spec lanes. They stampede up that step and away from LTW.
There it is. From the bottom lane to the mid lane. Who the efficiency heals
The macro.
bottom line. Ulti there's the flow. It's pretty dead.
Beautiful center. Good one up there. Yes. Reach like you move ball activated and on for opening.
There were 4 things. One more. Up the catapult. Ulti, they know it for 15 seconds. Never Tiny from our has like the
I'll see the video and try and make the walls catapult they're all going. And they want to go worse for in the next bit.
Sorry, it's you travel once. Like, near the shop can swap it, but he get to old 11 it seems, or get to DY. You're right now.
Dire's top tower is
They go
under
all up to self. That's all blood. Right away, so they can stay down. She's in that top lane.
Stay built from the center. He built it or used it. Could have Lions now gets Vanguard once. Oh. What if he keeps assembling it?
Over again.
Already got a low sword.
Alright, done.
Radiant's
That's a-
bottom tower is under attack.
Even the better use disassemble certain items, especially for a stack where you like heat many items. This or on you got a stone possibly. There's so many things you can do with it.
Almost. That's a good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
GH Kuroki, both level 7. They would love to get some action around the green foil. And again, back up the upstairs.
Surprised, you know, they're not gonna I see the players doing it.
This trigger, they're gonna have another combo.
And he does act good at first. And you need this.
The combo and another option. That's a systematic mover.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Everything's done. Jump forward up. Need to one of the lanes.
I stand it. Oh, they know all of you there. Right. After that range is with a bit of blast, the take. He'll not blast and sling. Typical with a coil tapping with that or two. That's W and P. Gets up and up the Russian lines. Back up the odds. He moves out. Boy, that's his tiny back up. Around the now there's no WP was the one was initiated. Gets a full kill. What do you want for? DP's host excellent.
Ursa, how's the That's the hood. He is again have both of the mid laners pretty much, but I'm around better. I did. All they should have was the respect. Damn, you can't close so either shit.
Oh, look at that. Strong. You stay. Don't carry that. I have to open out for a short. It's not. Do you want down and ripple the miracle?
They're like this, I mentioned, you know, but see, control getting multiple in mean for this game. But that's actually great. But the edge that rush, we see him sitting at the 1380 of Dark Willow. Just one casual fluffy hat, which allows you to using a combo and very quick rotation. Understand, like there's no Spectre Haunt, there's no Stampede. Let's try to make stuff happen to kill the tower with Cat up. Well, pretty much the stars aligning for them.
Look how they've got this puck with Blink.
Let's block the Blink. It's with a end of the.
Let's keep on running. Keep on helping you out. And another trophies that. Let's just keep flowing for Nigma. What after the thing? Yes, I crumble. D1, I vortex. Slow down. Miracle gets the ball. Solo to him. Take him out.
A lot of minimum. Here we know apparently VG you don't have it. A high ground word like this, or well, most like it. They got most out of it. Like straight away, you get kill. They can also protect that easily and get a blink damage. He could potentially be the one initiate the tiny now the power truck go to X Saber that little action second is something.
Oh, yeah.
All you need to finish off with a hero.
Absolutely do. Absolutely do. He's going to try and arm that up at the top. See. It's LBB, you just can't really show on the map. We were looking at the
Oh no!
of
Mind control suggesting a he's holding on to three.
got 3 fluff cats. Oh, he's a chunk of kill. John to sense. He popped it to it back. Oh, he's just destroyed by all the magic damage.
He like have the game from like Dark Willow stuff.
And they're not really long.
Plus, yeah, they're really reliant and you're cool out that they can keep adding on. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing.
You can have this BK on. He's got Blink down. Release no when target. Well, they also shown wild up. that long and he tried to go away, he's pretty speedy, he pops his wall, but we were just mentioning mind control. This is the overall signing.
Very clean game. Going in, fighting, not losing any of those.
Doesn't take Roshan when it doesn't. So they win it, but it's a
Right now, Nick controlling the big portion of the map, not allowing Vici game, like Vici game inside the enemy jungle. At the moment. Snap the coil.
This point turns it down, gone to them, holds around, himself up. They do gate. Yeah, back to a bit of hold the defensive. Something that gaming would have been relying on to win the team fight in the next event.
It needs to tone it down a bit to try not to these fights, get some in their own jungle. Avoid the game. Eggman knows that. You know, can fight inside the bush, as you mentioned, and I think in response.
Well, I think you're right, Vici getting in right now. A
Delay time, go to shopkeeper, and I hold it any item. Bro, do you have any item?
Well, you know, you got it's still gonna pop. No, I'm gonna save up for it little. Hey, just in that party lobby. I've got some. That was top that should be pretty easy to claim for Nick. Now, cut wave in between Tim and Sue there. I'll holding on lane, so sitting out a third of the map and 4G gaming to be farming a little less efficient elsewhere down towards bottom altogether. Right? Positioning from time right now. Looks like he's counting out.
Creep skipping.
Or is he skipping?
And
Right, TP's coming back from Miracle. Oh, he's hungry for this. Mind controls on Summer Ryan. There's the shoot the time down. T-Y. He got this. Oh, what did he do? It's dead to right. And she can now do this. You know, that's a.
yeah, ready for it. Like, he shoots up, and you can see. No. Tier 2, we're gonna keep you to tier 3 down. Like it really on point. Nick game 7-8 lead.
To the sick of the game. As it's not a control. Much more of a solid position than they had in one. They were leading in game 1 this time. Well, team fights, battling, acting as quickly as they have been. They have serious problem.
I like Miracle doing as finishing off the which it has once. He understands they got nothing. They're really not a single spell goes through magic community, so they're good to go. And this is also going for Ursa. Haven't finished the hood, has shot it up, which is
And goes back.
just a casual one because he's just performed at the moment. Just piling up.
Smoke broken bed. And control gonna be around the pits. I'm gonna say one thing he is choosing moments to try grab on a smoke. There was a forehand move, but they're ahead in that situation. Little curve there by talent booster of curve. He dropped. Spot. Splash. Dead to that bottom corner. Right hand side of the map. Everyone smoking down here. And I think what he will do. Yeah, that is
Better be out. And also, he found the perfect item.
All 11.
And reliable 11. Seems it has no one to help him around.
Down there, all of them. He's a map. The fact that they push one, how quickly they move, TVing the top out. No, he has to be. There's nowhere else they can farm. So they're keeping the pressure later.
His like this is pubs. You're probably thinking I'm reporting this. Watch K.
You tiny build.
But this is exactly what it is. You know, just this like tiny, and I believe he's also going this
Yeah.
creature, so he's gonna be able to get his spells off. Most likely gonna get the. I expect in a team fight. Maybe Beck doesn't have enough.
No, the soulboy comes in. Stop. Turn a fire. I'm playing it. Oh, man. This won't trip through them.
Oh, live.
Could be a goal up. You with a chair. Let's see. I kill up. Hello to you. This is the third one. He's out there. Out of the team. Not at a slot. Being close to the down. Just level. A triple for me.
Completely called out as he will is now playing the arcade has the challenge of just not enough. If they need to activate the combo, they need shackle as we then start the game are gonna struggle. Because he gets the silence pressure your name as well.
Buys himself smoke as well. Yeah, a sinful episode for each game, even though it wasn't team lost out a lot, still smooth their terms, which is something that some teams are so far behind. About 10k lead now for Nigma with all of them coming into them. That next Roshan just under 3 minutes away from last the mark. High ground.
It's sharp.
You want to die in the temporizer. He gets to come in. Almost back. Good and they're up from each. 4-0 double. It's a
If Ursa gets any other he feel different flat, but very nice optimization from TW. I don't think in pleasant by someone just knowing how good itemization you aim as it is one.
surprised by someone buying
No, I don't care. Like this is, I don't think if you scroll through data, I'm able to see as the first item in my character.
I think you're right. So it's a man, the right, you know, it could make sense, but yeah. I know the technique wrong way, because it's literally me, man, so it's not I don't it's better though. Mob troll, when Vinci gaining, gonna get massive. Oh my, the third one, they it's a good slap's coming in, but I think Andy's gonna get the staircase turned on, and Zach, do I help you? I'll cure up. An ancient apple.
The game forward, the barrack right reach, can be taken down easily still. You know, they have played game. This goes the 35, 4-minute clock. You know, considering the amount of the farm and I think that gaming, but Spectre's game farm, like Spectre at next row, which spawned in 35 seconds, and we Spectre's top dash. Maybe sneaky play that me talking about the Satan wanted to get like fly more of a fan out or see if it were man on like that just the sport which I put that you get from it is insanely high. The difficulty you're quite
Against me here, you know, all that I can be stacked against them, but it looks like with the big circle drawn around the shaft and spawning. Everybody start vying for that position. The raid triangle around that top room spot. Yeah, bounty room, even a terrorized multiple 11. Apparently used up. You also try set yourself up with a control hill. And you gotta get down, bottom flow. Ice blast, we had a stampede. They want to blow you back.
from laughing spell. He
He's a Jackson stuck up.
yeah, great spell casting. You not overlap it. Hector can't move. And A pass for 1 point once again. Hero can't win.
No buybacks.
Tower has fallen.
You miracle EKB. Something slips away with the door. Unfortunately, doesn't have that. I'm gonna get you up. The throat. A tiny push bite up again. No flyback beat. Base. Open season for Mutzer. Buildings.
Tower is under attack.
We talked about how it didn't have enough damage. Miracle says, you know, I'm gonna get damage. I'm gonna be more damage. Stat plus this. Fate chip back on top of it. Now has a good stuff. He's been involved in 29 out of 35 kills. Everyone's happy seeing Miracle back alone.
Oh, absolutely. It's just absolutely to watch. Big now what sleds around on trying to reclaim and some control of their base. Move towards the wish pit. And once gets the down ready, then try contest.
He's taken by Dave. They have a item there. Shadow Plant with a beekeep lens, he could in a bash there. So he executes stupid. They turn around, they're not.
Get scouted out the wall. The terror. EKB's I totally go. At least the die to the Murder. That's perfect. Down DUI.
Your last move.
Spot for her in a minute. And a 5-3 that we deal with.
A sharp to get. The back.
Well, I thought we were gonna hunt the tiny and an orange fine quite deep down there. RTW considering moving into triangle to try and the bond remains now like us. Each have one lane to defend. They are on lane with high. I'll see. We're still over. Just need a bit of vision. Just need to stop there. And jump.
Separation and I. Floppy at one back. Eon did his wall 800 HP at the moment. On the high ground. Miracle just gets damage. Right now at the back wall. That is haste.
Going. The defending real hilly terrain for Ichi. Instead, needs to push out top, hold mid. I think they've got down. Hold 11, just trying to fight the fear. Straight push high ground. Okay. Agent left. Anyway, sorry, I'm not clear else to you all. Lost back the other center. Very low man now. It's a horn. They're gone. Come in. Miracle now to join the way. Central point to get the shit off. Amazing the sword and the delivery. Action on. Party's on in. Here's the.
That's it, and they call actually call it one thing that I put it special for in the any SG that can Windows get a complete dominant team in the second game that were all over the place like
lineup is working.
Dire's
a lot of
top
people
tower is under attack.
also be very surprised. SCA is looking very good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Company not
attack.
is closer than it.
There's not that. I mean, only when it was questionable he points America again. Both are up. Anyway,
A good bit of
well, Iron Shack is resistance on back. Very nice.
with his build. We'll see more have it minutes and wall or some sort of like, or they will hard to spell first. So he's on. He is just. Kind of status isn't component. These shackles is quite a time. Many don't say first for
At stage, do you MS for that build? Like it feels insane. Something else.
nah.
I feel.
I don't think.
And everyone that combines into that.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
I'm gonna give him some decent here. I like if on the Asian armor is gonna help. That's primarily so that's not that good again. When yeah, the bag she's in pain. Yeah, it's strong.
So no iron and edge sword. That's about DKB as he's found it in his.
Radiant's top tower is under
Want to
attack.
the butterfly. He was going sharp. Check. Yeah, actually, confused me on very short out. You just look at half the effect. Feels like.
I still think it's good. Here. Oh, they might think it's just TV. Just TV. I like the chart. It's worth it. Personally. Like you said, it is. So. Right now. Same value. And
It will lose.
I do.
So now can be on the ground eventually, and it gives off a couple movements, I believe, into
300 extra radius
Radiant's top
within
tower
500
is
range to
under
lose some
attack.
energy smart up life.
with her build, the not that great.
Yes, probably. Entire like ags flips.
He's almost off as well. Very nice. It's playing
Dire's bottom tower is under
it
attack.
can't. It's your
See, you're actually really cultivate the maps. And if you don't access them, yeah, the game of the next row is most likely, right?
Well, the E, not the greatest layer, but there's the E's on top. Seconds, no more Matu, no buyback, another run shed for him literally every single time.
Dire's structures are
Yeah.
fortified.
Another back, if not G. That will not building hitters on the last game. From media, it's okay. We are not a fly to getting polluted on the right click should be more than enough. At the bottom of the game, while he created the racks are being destroyed. It's much way too much sustainability. Yeah.
Hey, look at Barnes. Like, how do you actually kill this guy? He not be maybe say and minus four. Like four.
We actually get that apparently. The Ramble next there. I believe he could turn on the shard. I'm not going to be 30 seconds. No, who's to Zide that.
And so we're
No, I'm guessing GG. These were the players muted or something like that.
yeah, for some reason message. Like that's a power.
Because of voice lines, actually. I was wondering why we haven't heard any voice lines.
Oh,
Usually people spam that. But yeah, I mean, Lorna on Morphling, we talked. Jenkins brought up the possibility of him meme.
Right.
Like, don't you think open, closed bracket just is beautiful?
Square root.
I don't know about that one. Anyway, this game was very entertaining to say the least. We got to see a crazy combo. Gambit looked good, man. Gambit looked real good.
Yeah, I'm super impressed. Like, after that game one, you know, a lot of the times, especially we've talked about, okay, they have 2 new players. Like,
Yeah.
how's the dynamic going to be? And it's one thing inside of the game, but it's also outside of the game. Like, how do you bounce back from getting crushed? Like, we kind of got ran over in game one. They had a lot of combos that just missed. The synergy wasn't really there. They just look completely reset. We're going to do something else. We have a new strategy we're going to bring. It worked wonderfully. I think the thing that impressed me the most was their top lane, managing to find these kills and how much they shut down Nisha. I think a lot of the games I see Secret lose is when Nisha really gets negated in a lot of the game, and they managed to do that. So great job, Gambit.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. They split this series. We'll see what T-Gov, Sheever, and the other guy have to say about this game.
I'm Jenkins.
Let's see what they have to say about the game. That was a different side of Gambit than what we saw in game number 1. Super happy to see them doing so well. And, I mean, we talked about the Morph Willow being strong, but Jenkins, Morph, Willow, Bloodseeker.
Yeah, that's a really nice combo that we definitely didn't fully anticipate. Other than the heavy breathing and heaving into the microphone, I would say that the Morphling plus the Bloodseeker combo is probably the best thing about that game. Just the fact that you have this hero that doesn't care if he is losing HP because he just literally regains it instantly when he morphs to full agi. You have a hero that is doing magic damage because of the Willow, and then you have a hero that's also abusing the attack speed because of the Willow. So it really is the perfect combo, and the only issue was that their early game was kind of rough, but making their way into that mid to late game, it feels like there was nothing to answer that on the Secret side.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence of Lauren F as well. Like, not only is the combo good, the way in which he was positioning his hero. He's playing underneath the towers, he knew exactly his limits, and it was refreshing seeing this performance, especially after the first game, where, of course, it's like a brood game, etc.
Yeah.
See Lauren F play. This was like a, whoa, you gotta respect this
that's
guy.
why this guy
exactly,
is in the team.
So much better, and it was so impressive. And I just like the fact that you have not kind of the unsung hero of the game was Dream as well. Like, he's playing this Luna, but he's itemizing for like the magic build. So you know you have physical damage coming from the Morphling, so then you make this Luna be obnoxious in his own department. His positioning was always the one getting baited on, but then he had the BKB to turn it around. And it just allowed them to just play a much cleaner game, and it was a really impressive performance, a good team performance. Everyone had their own little unique moments, and the execute, how many times was there a Rupture, but then they're playing on distance? You know, the Lucent Beams, the Fizz, the Willow, like, there were so many kills where they had to synergize together from a distance, and that takes a lot of coordination to perfectly kill that hero without overcommitting and swarming that hero.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about this Morphling, but I feel like what we were saying about the Broodmother and Team Secret in the previous game is the exact same way that I feel about the Morphling, where if you're going to let Lornoff play as Morphling, at the very least, okay, maybe not insta-ban. He does spam it a lot, so maybe at some point you insta-ban it. Probably not after this one game, but you need an answer.
Yeah.
You need something to deal with this. And I think in the other game, there was actually a Willow Morph too. So it looks like people just really like this combo right now, and you need an answer.
Okay. Turns out we have a live connection to none other than Sir Action Slacks right now. Hello?
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 It's dead. I can't hear him anyway.
I can hear you. I cannot see you.
Is this
no
part of the
link?
bit?
Is this a bit?
Slacks.
Slacks. Hey, I see him in the background.
Oh, there he is. Oh, this is good Slacks content.
Slacks.
Is he wearing a hazmat suit?
Yeah, he is. You can see
Beautiful.
this.
Are we following him? What are we doing? We're in the hotel. Players are playing their group stage and
Clearly,
the
of course,
wildcards
yeah.
from the hotel.
Oh, this is beautiful.
This is very good.
This is
There we are.
Oh, there it
Hello.
Hi, cutie.
Hi, cutie.
Hey.
Is that Slacks in the background too? What the hell?
There's 4 of
Two
them.
Slacks.
Oh, he's on Discord. Don't show him that. It's high technology
Wait,
here.
what's your
Can he still
Discord
hear
ID?
us? I don't
Yeah,
know.
what's your Discord?
That's just not meant to be.
Yeah, this is
This is a good bit to like prank us.
yeah, this is behind.
It is.
I mean, knowing Slacks, this is all scripted.
Is he
anyways.
wearing
Yeah.
underwear under there?
Yeah, of course.
Is that just underwear?
Some whitey tidies.
Whitey tidies.
I
I
think
saw
those
those
whitey
too.
tighties.
They're looking good.
I mean, I like the content.
I mean, he,
Shall I message him saying, idiot, you're live?
He's on the air.
yeah,
you know what?
he should be aware.
The one thing I meant to just analyzed the specimen, he has lost a significant
He's
amount of
looking
weight.
beautiful.
Absolutely
I mean,
beautiful.
yeah, he is looking amazing.
I'd say he doesn't accept compliments, but I told him. I looked at immediately his muscles.
Hearts in chat for Slacks and how good he
under
looks, yeah.
under the obesity, there's actually very spectacular muscles.
Oh, we're back.
Where were you going with that?
He has a face mask on the microphone.
He looks great.
He does amazing.
Very fit, beautiful
But
man.
that was a behind the scenes guys on how Slacks operates.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's hard at work.
fly on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
He was there the whole time.
Great to see that.
He saw Gambit take that victory. Of course, it leads to a tie because there's no actual winners in these series. It's just, 2-game series leading to a draw for our first series. Actually, the other series also turns in... Spoiler alert.
Ah! Damn!
Also turns into a draw.
I didn't see the end of that one actually.
Oh, it's been ruined now.
I was going
Ruined.
Ruined by
I'm so
Shiva.
sorry.
Well,
I
that's
am
cool.
so sorry. What?
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
We have different regions battling together in both of the games, both of the series. It looks even.
Yeah, this is the game that we just watched. You know what was a question that I had? Because I saw Gambit obviously getting ahead and doing really well, but there always was somewhere in the back of my mind. Yeah, but it's Team Secret and it's a Medusa.
I would agree with you. The issue for me was simply Nisha's itemization never allowed him to be at the forefront of every fight. He went for, I believe it was, let me just triple check this, it was a bots, Ags, a vessel, and he just, every time he looked at the fight, he was getting ruptured, he was getting zoned away, and he was dying instantly. So Secret kind of lacked that one hero to truly be tanky enough because of the Bloodseeker factor. So even though it was a Deucer game, the Deucer didn't have the supporting cast to survive those engagements.
That's interesting because when you have the combo of the Bloodseeker and then obviously the Morphling Willow, typically a hero like Medusa, you need some sort of mana burn, but just overwhelming damage is sometimes enough. And in this case, Gambit just played it well enough to make it work. Like, I think if Lornoff wasn't so incredibly high skill on the Morphling, the exact same thing could look really awful, where it's like, oh, the Medusa's too tanky, they don't have enough damage. Well, no, he's just in every single fight, he's killed off the supports, he's got all the buffs.
Yeah, but this also was a rare scenario where Secret, the ones not making any moves. For like 15 minutes, Gambit, the reason why Secret looked like they're in the lead was Gambit was moving aggressively to top, Bloodseeker dies. They move aggressively, smoke into bottom, Bloodseeker uses Rupture but doesn't get a kill. So the game felt even because of Gambit's own moves.
It's so sorry. I just see Lornoff. The Willow Morph combo is so stupid.
Obnoxious.
We know that Lornoff is really good on the Morph, right?
Yes.
This
We have
game.
one game to go off. But
This
he's
game
amazing.
specific. No, well, in his pub's record as well.
for sure.
This game specifically. You think it could have been any other? Like, is Willow super instrumental here? Because I felt like already with the Bloodseeker it was really good, and I'm not sure if Willow was the thing that pushed them over the edge. I think they were doing really well regardless because of how well he played, or was Willow definitely needed?
Yeah, I think the Willow was needed for the idea of the area control and the survivability, where the Morphling had the confidence, because not only did you have your attribute shift, your waveform, you then had the realm defensively as well, even though it's aggressive, it's a defensive spell, and the zoning of the Willow was like instrumental in some of these bigger fights.
It's funny you mentioned the area control because something actually that you literally just made me realize this, but people treat this sniper
You get a sugar rush. It's good for a little bit, but then you get a crash, right?
Yeah, and I think the crash hit around 25 when rounds were flying at his face and belly being full of the mangoes.
I know the feel. I just had some dried mangoes as well. You can't go too hard on those, especially not the sugared ones.
If that is a really good build, by the way. Memes aside, CM going for mangoes, not going for aura at level 2. Go for your Q, go for your W, and kill heroes. Very good build.
Okay, so we now had our first series here in this stream, and it is a draw. It is Team Secret and ASM Gambit both walking away with one win. And I think Gambit's going to move on to play on the Dire stream right now. Secret's going to get a little bit of a break, and we're going to get 2 fresh teams for our next series. Before that happens, though, we're also going to get a fresh panel. So to make that happen, we're going to say goodbye to you for a bit, but we will be back with IG versus Execration after this.
Japoy is my idol. Japoy is my idol.
Just for good measure. Just to make sure he's dead.
You think you good, ah?
Hindi na do anything, ah.
Five seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Needs assassin. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant dire team. Ancient. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team down.
Darkseer. But I have been told from China, Nyx Assassin first round picked every single game that it's left in the pool. I guess they just think it deny picks a lot of these popular mids, such as the Lesh in the China region.
Yeah, Nyx is usually just first banned or first picked in China, and then depending on whether or not it gets through the draft, like everything else changes entirely. Darkseer is a hero that I thought we would see more playtime this major, and we've already seen him already. Right?
What about Darkseer made you think we were going to see him a lot?
I think he's just good against heroes like Medusa, who have become very popular, and he kind of enables these like offlaners like Nyx Assassin, Clockwork, like all of these popular heroes to just do more on the lane.
Yeah, I think with the heroes like Clock and Nyx, what I see a lot of Darkseer teams do is they'll give them that Ion Shell to leave the lane and go kill like a stacked camp.
Right.
And it's like, oh, suddenly you have this Clockwork or Nyx that has no farm potential that gets an extra little level bolstered. And he's also leaving his offlaner alone at the same time. It is efficient. The hero has a lot of potential, Darkseer, in that regard, but he also generally gives pretty good farm to whatever hero he's against. Yes, he scales well against the Medusas, all these other illusion heroes that end up killing themselves or the teammates around them. But you have to be careful because you are giving that guy almost always more items to work with.
Right.
Is there anything that we can learn from the bans coming out at the moment with the Grimstroke Void on one side and the Spectre ban out on the Execration side?
Well, the Spectre ban is very popular against Chinese teams. They value that hero very strongly, actually. I've noticed it's banned quite frequently against them.
I'd probably use this one. It's pretty hard to see the anime
It's kind of
pictures
hard
on
to
some
see
of the
the
bans.
bans, right? It's covered. Do you see?
Yeah, I think with Spectre, it's a pace of the game thing against the Ancient Apparition, because a lot of these backline supports, they don't want to deal with that global threat because their positioning in fights is so crucial, and they're also dealing out spells that require them to focus on where they're landing them, so it's really hard to be doing both at the same time. And then the Darkseer Ion Shell allows these heroes that lack the contribution in like the 10 to 15 minute fights that a hero like Spectre does, and they actually do a lot just by being on top of you.
And they do ban out the Medusa on the side of Execration. Like, they noticed that they have a Darkseer on IG's side, and they were just like, you know what? We don't have the Darkseer, let's just ban the Medusa.
You also have a Tiny, which is all burst oriented, and I think Spectre Medusa are probably the two hardest carries in the entire game to burst. I wouldn't be too surprised if they also consider banning out the Wraith King as like the third unburstable carry, because they're pretty much all in on that, even though they haven't shown any part of their draft yet. When you commit two heroes to this all-in kill one person, you definitely can't have a hero that completely counters that.
Agreed.
Oh, they go TA. Okay.
Yeah, they pick up
That
the
makes
puck.
sense, though, that they elect the TA since they're picking the puck. Hard lane counter.
I do really like this puck pick. I think it's a very active hero. I think it plays well with Tiny. Plays well with AA. It's very active around the map, and AA loves to play with heroes who are constantly going for kills.
It's going to actually be very interesting to see how IG plays against the Puck, because Puck has been pretty popular in a lot of regions, but not in China, right? In China, has not been picked that much at all.
Yeah, I was hearing that from across the world. Like, everyone's like, why is EU still picking Puck when it's not even getting touched in the China region? And I was like, well, it seems they're doing pretty well in most of the games that I'm watching. And I think the issue with this Puck pick, if I had one, is the fact that Tiny is now revealed to be a 4 as of the 3rd pick in the draft. Usually when you pick these flex heroes first round, you want to leave it as long as possible.
Does Execration play Tiny Carry?
That is true. That's for you.
They did not play it during the DPC, but I'm sure that they can. Like,
yeah.
I still don't know if it's a 4 or a 1. Like, it's still out there. But Tiny Carry definitely has its merits.
I think it has to be paired with like the likes of Morphling, though. Every time I saw it during the European and CIS DPC, it was you had a Morphling, a TA, like a carry in the mid lane. So I don't know if I'd be a big fan of it if they have the Puck mid. Like, you don't really have Tiny's not a hard one. He's like a momentum-based one that inevitably gets carried by somebody else because he does literally fall off like a rock. So we got the Disruptor pick.
I like that a lot against Puck.
Do you like it because of the vacuum wall combo, or what do you like about it?
It can kill him. Combined with Dark's hero, like, Puck can definitely die to these heroes. Like, they shouldn't have to be worried about killing this hero. Usually he's so slippery, he needs like some kind of instant silence or instant stun, and I think they kind of solved that problem so far with the Disruptor.
I think the Wraith King pick's a really solid deny
You're right
pick.
about that.
Not the best illusion hero. Yes, you give him a Radiance potentially, but other than that, the illusion's like kind of mediocre. And then mostly the fact that both teams are heavily like of one single volley of spells, and then they're done. Like, both teams are all in on that initial burst. So Wraith King is the only prime candidate left. Maybe IG has something in mind that fits that bill as well. Jug, he can die. He can die full to 0. That hero is not that tanky health bar wise in the mid game.
I think what they were going for with the Juggernaut is that really strong mid-game timing with Darkseer, and one of the better heroes to do that is Juggernaut. Maybe they were just like thinking in like the bigger scope of the game, rather than like, can this hero individually die?
He will come online much earlier than the Wraith King, so I completely agree with that. So it really will boil down to, because he enables his team by going in first on the Jug, if he's able to actually do that. Like, if he hits that critical mass of like SNY Scotty before they have like a couple right-click items on the Wraith King, and now the magic nukes are no longer enough, then IG, I think, will run them over. But it's a pretty thin line to walk around.
And Effie, you said at the start that you really like what Nico has been doing. His hero is going to be last on the docket here from the looks of it. I guess there could be potentially some flexibility, but what do you want to see from him? What kind of boxes does his hero need to tick?
It's kind of hard to see the ban screen from here, to be honest.
I will tell you that IG banned a Legion Commander and Beastmaster, while Execration has just banned Void Spirit, and they are waiting for their last ban. Or they're picking it in they're banning it in a second.
I'd like to see like a very tanky, fast hero coming out from him. Someone that can like pair with the Tiny and the Puck and the AA. Is Centaur still in the pool?
Yeah, there's actually very few offlaners banned, just in general. I guess we had Bristleback at the start. Legion Commander, Beastmaster, Mars banned, but Centaur's still in, Tidehunter's still in, Axe still in. Slaughter's still in.
Centaur is good as well, yeah. I like Centaur if the Tiny is a 4, because you're not really reliant on that early blink timing. Like, you can just kind of stampede in and get your Tiny stun off. Like, he kind of covers him for a while.
The thing about these last 2 bans for IG is that they're protecting exactly what the Jug would struggle against later on in the game, which is heavy single target physical damage, which if he gets past the early magic damage, great. he can outcarry them. But once you put that in the equation, that's why I mentioned Slardar. It's definitely not as ideal as the other two options that they banned out, just because Slardar Tiny's kind of a, I'd say a mediocre lane, to say the least, just two melee heroes that rely on being point-blank range to do anything. But if they can make it so Jug is nullified like 30 minutes plus, they're going to look really, really good if they get that just one opening for Wraith King to get the Radiance plus the next item. And they're good, smooth sailing from there, I think.
Agreed.
Just a DK, I think, could work here. You're scared of picking like tanky heroes against the A, but they go Mag.
Ooh, they go Jug Mag. I like it.
A lot of circles.
Hitting that cards and Juggernaut. I like it.
There's a big wombo combo potential on the side of IG. I always feel like if
Yes, this will do just fine.
Prepare for battle.
Yes, this will do just fine.
Seconds to battle.
Behold!
The battle begins.
Halbert, what are you looking for RZW in this game? 'Cause he needs tempo, doesn't he?
Oh god, yeah. 100%, but there is a consideration you just have to go Maelstrom in this game. You're playing versus Naga, so you need to be a match core-to-core match at some point in the game, but might not work so well with their draft, so we'll see. I think maybe he ends up becoming more of this like life stealer kind of in a way, for the more he becomes a super carry. But yeah, already starting to fall easily far behind at laning start. And GH, he is starting to check, as we say, 4 minutes. Then GH has to help out Miracle a little bit there. He's falling behind, so we're not get a refill on these water runes.
Oh, there's lots of tips coming out. Kuro having a bit of a battle with him. Bottom lane though, and controlling, he's alright. Oh, slips away from the Naga. And that.
The cookie. I think the cookie actually lands on him. Yeah, the cookie to lose and he like did the step forward to dodge it. It was in play from my control.
Well done by him. He's not going to accomplish much yet.
No, he can't.
And he's just wandering around, and this is what they're going to draft. We love to see this Tusk with the last track, the DP, the range here, the use of the tag team. Of course, this Control mark the sense of T-fight in that kind of period where the laning phase breaks down.
I'm a bit surprised that he actually try doing like the first full wave, you hit level 2 with Tusk and then you just get kicked. Because Viper, very immobile hero, but if they start hitting advantage top, they're going to and watch this.
Yeah, stuck up there, managing to get some stun into the Nether Toxin. And another one comes through for Afterlife. Earn charges for the Viper as well already.
Yep. I think you have to bring GH up a +1 in order to try to set up to get IFTW to get kill onto this slow hero like a Viper. 320 movement speed, 3 heroes hitting him with 10. He is gonna die, but so far unable to get the foot. Get him to get the foot off, and Lorna, he's going back to base. He's level 6 already on Storm, so they can't actually set up for him anymore, where we might have seen a rotation if they did it earlier.
Goal is for Storm now, level 6. Is it it's like hard jungle play fog at the farm, or you want to see EP rotate to get killed?
I don't think he needs to rotate with the way that they're going, and I think this is a game where he can play his beat go for his Orchid, and then he's the counter to the completely inside of the game. So I think we're not just mid lane to the farm. If he sees the rotation like being forced, if they're diving too far into the mid lane, sure, he can TP, but I think he should just play his own game, maximize as much as possible.
It's definitely engine apparition is for the Storm Spirit, and it's the move that you've been wanting for quite a while.
Need this.
GH, his TP top, Afterlife has already managed to dip away from any aggression Nigma was bringing. And now Tuska's TP top there. Mind Control's isolated down bottom.
They're going to try to get an aggro play on him. Huge creep wave going under. They're trying to connect, pull it.
Ooh, they get a bit of it.
They get a little bit.
Let's see if Range Creep's going to follow through.
With the split illusions they're done by Green 2, putting 2 near the wave. This one is going to go deny, be able to get it, mind control. Up to level 5, not bad for the Mars when he's been kind of left on an island.
Yeah. He's getting something there. Storm Spirit is starting to play the fog as we've seen from Storm, kind of farming small camp, medium camp. Get himself back into the lane to stop the cap away from Orpling from hitting his tower too much.
Very nice.
That's a nice vortex. Oh!
He missed it.
Oh, miracle!
He was trying to shift down, second shift back up. Did not do the math.
Oh, you said the aggression from low enough right out of that vortex plate back under that tower. You don't flee to the bird storm.
Oh boy, that's a big slip up. They can't have mistakes.
He's top CS. It's a kill on his counterpart, a solo kill. He's got a ton of gold like towards that orchid. He's real fast. And now he's able to wave mid, far up a cap. Even faster.
This is a problem for Nigma. Falling behind with this type of lineup is going to be very tough for me to recovering. If they're most of the actual matchups, it's going to be very reliant on Mind Control getting some dream combos. So at least he's having a decent start. Net worth not so much, but his levels, right? Almost level 7 on him. So he's going to be the big one to now bring him out of this very rough start.
Get him out of the rut.
GH. He's also potentially got some bit near far enough. He's stick charges. He's going to be able to zip past it.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, you're right. In the second game up against Vici, it was very much down to Mind Control with those big arenas setting up the ice blast, the combos they've got. GH, he's in the neck of the woods, Radiant Triangle. He scouts an ancient camp. He's going to get caught up by Immersion and Afterlife here, and he's trying to deny himself to the Ancients. Not successful though. Nyx Assassin will take him out.
Nyx is usually a hero that takes some time, right? Your first year landing start isn't really the most amazing, but as levels get online, this hero becomes one of the strongest supports in the game, and he's already having a great time. He's level 3, got Tranquil's Raindrop, Windlace. He's going to be super active around Mind Control.
Yeah, he's okay. He's alive, even though he's okay. He's having some struggles now.
They've already got Medallion on the Sapphire. Plus the minus armor from Riptide. This is a very tough thing for the Mars now at this point. Though he has his chain now, the minus armor is very effective as look at the catch.
Yeah, we'll find that snap off. Pretty tanky hero, but still gonna get blown through. Got GH also take down the courier with a blade of alacrity on it. So he's losing out a bit of his tempo. Storm Spirit. Trying to get a bit of revenge here. Gonna the shot. Back GH, but Storm is able to close the gap back onto him. Well, that's the first kill for up on the board. A bit of a morale boost at least for them.
I think Courier's a nice thing too. It's going to slow down that speed because the Knockout Star was getting pretty out of control. Yasha was on the horizon to top.
LTW rages away. Immersion. About that. Impale. Holds it. No, he's not going to get any real follow through.
Other thing about the Nyx in these type of matchups as well is Nyx, as we said, slow to start, but especially versus like Lifestealer. Always Lifestealer doing like the King versus Nyx Assassin. You don't care about anything he does. You rage and just hit him, but yeah, Immersion having a very good start here. 2-0-1, sapping experience.
Especially if you're the one making the first move, right? If you're on the back foot against Lifestealer, you're having a rough time. You're gonna make that first move against AA, against Morphling, this Nyx Assassin once he hits level, especially, could find some nifty openings onto some of these targets.
This could be a good move here from GA. If he's able to get on Afterlife, he's got the shards.
And he's trying to pour it up top. Afterlife, the Viper dropping 3 heroes around him, and 9 minutes, not 10 minutes in, they get that tri-lane move onto the Viper at long last. Grab that aim strip for long enough. Nyx Assassin TP down towards bottom. Miracle's going to force Ball Lightning back into that creep wave. Not really a bother there for the Storm though. It looks like what sets up for mind control.
Look how fast that was. He hides himself off of the mid lane. Suddenly reports bottom for a kill. No
Straight down. And got the chain stuns onto him, and he's spin his arena. Mind control still going to smear up the Storm Spirit. Any backup? Nigma on the team. On control's left. On here against 4 heroes. It's another chance.
I knew Lornoff was aggressive, but extra rotation with the hit during Miracle is capitalizing off of it though, hitting the tower. So playing in the area in case anybody comes up after, like, he actually had to just let it drop. So, you know, the move is good to at least punch Micro, but at the same time, they lose an early mid tower versus Morphine.
Yeah, 10 minutes in there, the capital wave, and they did swing 3 heroes back towards him, thinking about trying to start. That leaves Immersion down on the low ground against the Morphling top. Cookie to disengage. Went for the Miracle. He's hunting for a little bit more there. Lornoff's low, the snowball towards the snap will drag Miracle towards that target instead. So on the next, get a snap.
Great moves from GH. Sitting around mid, just very being patient, waiting for somebody to show up there. He knows that he is the kill hero. With his team, we're going to give Kuroki the lane. Level 6, we see the AA blast. So we're going to base. Is Lornoff going to get killed by it? No. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. Good attempt.
He'll delay his move out of the fountain a little bit. I mean, net worth-wise, like, Morphling up at the top, Naga not too far behind. They've got a pretty tight grouping of heroes there. I think the surprising one for me is Lifesteal has managed to recover pretty tremendously out of the lane.
And he is just rushing now. He's not even going to go for armor, so he's going to counter the Naga counter Kuroki.
Yeah, that's Immersion's level 6, right? Finds the AA, and he's got Urn charges up. Kuro, he's got the invest. RW races across with the base, but it's left around from GH. Good grab base, but next assassin, and he's done for it there.
Nice team play coming out. They tip Kuro.
Making calls. I bet TP top. So next.
Help!
It does mean that there's a natural move up to the Nagasar and Ditchball lane move up the top for the tier 1. Flames got objectives as Gambit. Are they ready to fight this? Are they going to bring the Mars top to battle it?
He can. There is a TP coming out from Viper down bottom already with the Storm too. Mind control might get caught off guard from this one here.
Oh, I'm not expecting it.
No, not.
Dream gets the down top, the zipping off the bottom laners and Mars. Being caught down, he can goodness. I want to give a bit more down to that tower, but with that net toxin and Storm's damage, substantial.
It's such quick movements coming out.
Straight smoke.
I love the what is and Gambit is on fire right now. The way that they're making these early aggressive moves, really recognizing the style that they want to play with this early advantage that they have on the Storm, just making Lornoff get very involved. And just letting Dream do his own thing, right? Just let this Naga play his own game.
Yeah, it feels like wherever Immersion is, there's action. Feels like the next assassin's the one making the go cool, follow me, let's smoke, let's make these moves. Dream is left at the top though, which means Nigma snap into act onto him, and RTW out with a killing spree.
Good move from Nigma. The smoke from Gambit is just going to be wasted. Immersion's going to have to scout out some information. Miracle.
Oh.
Shifting down.
Can he get it? And what's Miracle at? 160. He's got 55. I don't know, man.
Oh, geez, if he knows.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the zip. They see the Storm walking over.
He's got still another zip in. They've caught Miracle out of him. James done beautiful. Absolute perfection in from Gambit and Storm. He's going to fly himself away, so not even a chance. A snowball or an arena.
They get Immersion though for it, perhaps.
A trot. He's got cat base and the arena there with a spin, but a couple of kisses. A counter initiation from Gambit. They love the shots. Mind control. He's going to back and stop that ramp. Get to the safety of the staircase. But you need the winners to be really landing and getting kills right, because he's much of main guy.
Yeah, how about did he actually end up absorbing there? He absorbed Spear, he absorbed the Amazon Punch, just the Carapace would absorb pretty much everything. If he didn't get it at that second moment, he's dead. They would at least get a return kill, but yeah, great Carapace from Murray. Yeah, this is
a beautiful next game.
Beautiful next game for sure. I don't think he's recovered, but every single one of these are bloods that don't connect. That's kind of going to slow down the pace completely from Nigma. They need to have these successful, because if you look at the side of Gambit, they're not nearly a cooldown reliant.
That's like Naga Farm, basically. Yeah.
But they got the Dream did get picked up before all that started, which was a very big one that Nigma didn't need. Now another tower.
Yeah, more flank after the bomb. He's got him. Just a recipe away from Manson now.
Exactly. Lornoff already has his work, so this is the timing here for Gambit to keep looking for plays, keep looking for any type of aggression. Nigma knows this. Look how they're sitting behind. GH and Kuroki at the ready to protect Miracle.
Very, very defensive. Hey, wait behind you, carry.
Yep.
And it was a movement and another goal. Follow me. I'll lead you kills in action. I'm going to scout them out. You got CGH. Do they have any sentries? No reveal.
All right.
Yes, further off aside, so they got them all straight away. 3 packet of great snow on. Turn around, another the storm, blow him up. The street tick. Gambit bringing the numbers this time. Immersion might even get covered. As the Mars angling towards him. Immersion's out.
Just instant react. If they maybe had stunned the opener, I think Immersion he wanted to get a little bit extra damage. If they just stunned it, perhaps they actually can get the follow-up for the kill, but just too quick there from GH. And now Manta's done. So that was your big move to make with the Orchid. So Manta can react, yep. And Kuroki is sneaky and even works down to the C and be able to predict and, you know, prepare yourself for these Orchid movements, having the Tusk in particular sitting behind that Morphling. Those moves coming now.
Yeah, I mean, if that's smoke Gambit, if you can put one of those out, vision and intel important for them here as they do ready themselves around that bottom spot. Afterlife with boosted travel.
Yeah. Super immobile here. So you always want to be able to join to these fights as you know. Start getting this up.
Back onto the next they want to squish the plug and get the pass down the gate. Immersion break comes the storm. Looking for the engine compression. He got saved for the last kill. He's barely dying and he can swap everything he's got to find the kill as BD. Taken out by ultimately. And they go on the retreat now with a vortex onto themselves. GH under that damage from the Riptide and Netotoxin. 2 for 2, all things said and done. All the supports and all the calls running back to farm.
Man, I'm active though. My control for the farm during the meantime, he's got his blink. It was spotted though. I believe that this courier actually did see the this ward saw the courier coming out with it, so he should be aware that he does have added for the next ones. But it's an aggressive move. Being able to punch back with this Manta style Morphling. They're getting Lifestealer completely back in the game as you were mentioning earlier. At up top, he's turn 1. His infest saves have been pretty top.
Yeah, every time as well, right?
Yeah.
Jumping the AA, you know that's your squeaky target, the food for the Storm and Nick. So RTW's ready and waiting for it. Goes straight into the ancient apparition. Because he's got a lot of work cut out for him as the position 5 is getting his Kuro, and he's got a lot of de-rolling to do. He's got to try and figure out what Enigma are up to.
Sneaky wards too, as we mentioned earlier. The one that you put past that tower, that's one that almost never gets dewarded, and it's not going to catch it, the one that they placed down there, so.
Oh, hello! They find exercise under a sentry ward. Try to blow him up. That's Morphling. Finding yet another kill.
Kuro during the DPC, I think one of the things that we did critique a lot of the times was the vision. They'd be actually quite lackluster vision. This game so far that I've been, he's been really top notch with them. Sneaky wards, sneaky sentries too, being placed down to watch these next movements.
So all of the, like you said, the places that they need to be moving towards or where they are going to be coming from. And what's the next goal really here for Enigma? You know, we're talking about Rogan, or is it going to be aiming towards that Radiant Triangle area? Not necessarily hunting for her?
I think you can still touch what you're seeing on the map if they're not playing that. What we were talking about with what the panel was saying too, where you shouldn't really see heroes on the map so much. Gambit. It's the stuff that they want to go for. So if Enigma sees anybody, they can just go for it. If they have the lanes in a good position, they can look for type of fights with this big Mars AA combo. And the vision that they still have, they know exactly where Gambit is right now. They know that there's 3 or 4 heroes positioned around here. Immersion, he's gonna sneak through Vendetta. Maybe this can get something done.
CG. Immersion. I'm going to start on mind control here. He's thinking about it. Animate, cancelling the stun. It's a miracle under his entry ward as well. Invis Morphling. Mind control starts off. Easy, they just blow up the fire. Grandma's gone. Blue walks straight back out. Enigma, the speed at which to jump in, find that pick. But the question being your next objective, what do they get from it? Is it another kill?
They're just camping.
They're going to get another kill from this. Get some chain kills, guys. Very beautifully done. That's up yet again. And might control away from them. And stick around the bottom lane here too. I mean, Dream to get a tower, but he's pushing out multiple waves, but look at that tight 5-man unit looking really strong.
11-11. They've completely evened it out. Ambit not really knowing how to slow it down at all. They're going for the fire here onto the Storm Spirit next, but very squishy, very vulnerable now on all 3 cores. They can't actually show their face versus anything of him unless they get the initiation cleanly from this Nicked Assassin who's just, it's not happening.
Dream, he's talking.
Oh, let's see if we can catch him.
He's setting up for 2 heroes caught up in it. What's the follow-through going to be? The cookie that starts the next assassin gets spit back. He still catches that mind control to that ice blast, clips on the Dream, of an inch apparition blown up.
Nicely done from Dream.
As a statement of intent by Gambit, right? 5 heroes, song sets up, we're coming to let you out of our jungle.
They got the E ward as well too, which is important. That one ward would be pretty frustrating for them. They're going to be able to claim their outpost back, which very important at this point in the game. So early that they would have lost it. Load up, definitely needs to be yes. I think this is going to be most appropriate. I'm actually thinking maybe for Afterlife he might have wanted one too, but he's actually committed Atos. So he was going for the pipe build after boss. Going for Atos makes sense, you know, your versus like this Morph and Tusk, and even Mars can be pretty effective.
Keeping that toxin.
Yep.
Maybe a little setup for the next
Exactly. I think that's the other thing too. They are lacking a little bit of catch in some situations. It can't just be immersion.
Yeah.
They'll walk in under detention and just die, and they're missing a hero. So I do like that they at least have a secondary form, but definitely needs a BKB soon to be able to counteract versus the big Mars ult.
Oh, Miracle is Dark Siren now.
Yep. G. They have a DD.
Oh.
They do.
Into the right here we go. What do that next objective would be for Enigma? And you want minutes in. The big man.
So fast with the tag team, with the Riptide too.
It's dead.
They can't do anything about it.
Oh, chance Radiant stack, but missed out on the roach drafting there. Oh, big reach circle. So yeah, he just grabbed by Miracle and then jumping into high count towards triangle. There's the punch from GH. Kiss is going to hand it off to MC, but Ultimate gets to the range. Gets straight through the lava. Clears through the next. And Miracle going to stand his ground and battle the illusions.
Heavy. So that your sports swimming already proving to be pretty squishy, even more versus this. And it's going to be tough for you to actually target and burst anybody, because that's not really what their draft does anymore. Their kisses, since it's a 5 position level 1, their burst damage is quite lackluster now on the side of Gambit. Enigma kill it, but they're gone every single time with this AA, with this combo.
So do you reckon the Naga Sultans, the insurance plan is going to come to fruition here? Do they have time?
It's definitely looking a bit scary. The Morphling not being able to turn into her as well too is problematic.
No, well, enough records he's searched. See what he gets up to. Stormseer is back in Fountain, going to have to try and regroup there with this App and Ex-Assassin, probably wanting to smoke across the map.
He's going to need a pretty explosive BKB timing. Like, once he gets BKB, he needs like 2 to 3 kills plus, and they need to get some massive map advantage, because they're really starting to fall behind right now.
Getting away from the spear. Arena mind control, holding Naga inside. The Eye Clan comes through and clips the Naga, but in comes the Assassin. Still there, munching away from the ring gone. Enigma holding onto their own triangle. Still Gambit nowhere to be seen.
Dream's only died twice this game, but both hits are so impactful. The positions that he's gotten caught off in from Enigma, he's nowhere near his team. They can't help him at all. So he's just dead to instead of it's a lot of time off the map for this Naga.
And GH just keeps on chasing him, isn't it? Already spent the carapace, so that means Miracle is opened up for an adaptive strike. Oh, immersion. He's popped his wand. And get into the fog and run away. GH, think twice about going any deeper.
So strong, guys, I'm so strong.
Does have that blink dagger though.
And do we have the Mjolnir? Looks like that'll be full counter versus the Naga Siren, so really does feel that Enigma is in perfectly fine condition here. Only less than 1k gold behind, but that doesn't matter at all with the way that they itemized, the way that they played now too. This movement is by far the strongest here on the map. Yeah, a lot of pressure now on Lonoff.
Yeah, we've got 3 minutes remaining on the Aegis of Morphling. That's going to be maybe even the entirety of the top lane, and then this smoke, if they get a couple of kills, the net really closes around Gambit and shuts them out of the map, because they've been playing wide open map, and that's going to get real tight here as G8 will start the jump on the Viper with the spear. The Viper didn't stand a chance in his own high ground triangle as Emergent trapped in the shards, and they've got the ducks, the reveal comes, and even an arena to secure the next assassin. Miracle said in that Naga form with these illusions, shredding through people so quickly.
Oh boy. They are unable to really make any type of initiating moves themselves at all now. Enigma having the double blink daggers, and saw GH picking it up quite some moments ago when they catch the Naga on bottom.
Oh, good hit there.
Now, perhaps my control at least. Okay.
Do get the Mars, but leaves off. Needing to use the BKB defensively, and he's spent all his mana, so he can kind of TP us on cooldown. ECC is going to be the target now. They go towards LPW, Kuroki.
He's still getting chased. The Storm.
The Storm. Oh, you're right. GH has got a punch.
Oh,
Miracle finishes him off, and Storm first BKB seemed worthless. Dead for a minute now. Well, he's still got his Aegis for 2 minutes on Miracle. Soft that tier 2 mid. control triangle. Think about the rest of them for yourself.
Definitely control the triangle. Just sit on the high ground here as Nappers, and it really just feels like there's nothing that poor Gambit can do anymore. They got these good timing early, but then nothing started to happen. Enigma just catching a couple of cards, catching the Naga Siren once or twice. And mass for them, and it's just easier for them to initiate.
Yeah.
Emergent, how many times have we seen him just like been dead and burning already and actually want anybody?
Gets dusted, sentry.
Yeah.
He dies. Right, so, something the panel's brought up a couple of times is that ease of execution. Enigma, like we said, game 2 against VG Gaming, pretty similar track they have. Yes, they've already warmed up and practiced with this kind of lineup fighting, whereas Gambit is much more nuanced how they want to. You're explaining the kind of splitting.
It hasn't been able to happen. You know, Enigma just group expecting moves first, so they're catching these throws when they're trying to do that sneaky wave clear as Dream's current also gets taken out here.
Nothing in that for.
They actually do have the song here to try to catch this.
He can't see anyone until he walks straight on top of the AA mob. And he'll try and jump the Kuro AA, but the snowball save. Time is up. Yes, got the Dream. Then another strike on for the lifesteal, but he's going to invest back in Morphling. It is still in hand for about 4 seconds. The Morph wouldn't mind dying here, honestly. And that's it. Gambit, nothing left in attack. They've spent everything. They get no kills. Enigma just going to full hard reset and go again.
I can't believe they don't even get Kuroki. And just the double bailouts, I think the Infest plus the snowballs timing them again. Enigma on point. And they didn't have a good combo. That's the next point I actually was going to get to is sometimes we see these Naga Sirens able to work so well because you have some like black hole, something like an egg on top of that. They have nothing. Their combo is pretty much just Nyx Assassin run and tries to stun.
And then Kisses on top, it's very, very delicate to start these fights.
Really, they have 2 fight positions now at this point because how slow Immersion's game has gotten. They have a level 11 fire, level 11 Nyx Assassin. Can't really contribute too much big into the team fights in comparison.
Yeah, you clear when you talk about Storm's BKBs and second Immersions running forward and desperately trying to start the fight wherever they can. But MC, BKB spear back to the Nyx, then comes the Ice Blast combo. Immersion, pressing Cookie. Get a bit of distance away from Enigma. A turn around from Gambit, maybe here onto Miracle. Ball running into the arena carpet. Miracle BKB up himself, turns into the Naga. They lose the Mars. Nyx fights back as well, but it's more. He's shredding him. There's not much. It's a stun for Immersion, but the rest of them off run. Dream has been left isolated yet again. Pumped into the air and G brings him out of the ground.
That is crazy. So he's doing he turns into the illusions and then jumps into Morphling, but they're ranged illusions. He has these ranged Morphlings. He has 4 Morphlings in the fight.
Snowball back onto the snap as well. Oh, BGG gone. 3 heroes dead without buyback. Enigma have taken an absolute stranglehold of this game now.
Did they get at least 1 kill?
They got the Mars.
They got the Mars.
Yeah.
Again, that's these BKBs, these 1 kills. This poor Storm Spirit can't actually get onto 26. It really is too many different aspects on the side of Enigma that they're using beautifully. They really are. These Infest, these snowballs have been up. And now it's like you go for this aggressive move with the Nyx. Oh my god, wait, they both have BKB. The Morphling and the Mars BKB, and it's a built-in rage on Lifesteal. So you can't do much of anything.
So we have to do something, but what can we do? We're limited on options right now.
I mean, Morphling versus Naga Siren. Now it's just looking very more favored. If I ever see this matchup again, I'm probably just going to immediately start at the Morph 2. You just turn into the Naga Siren and you have 4 Morphlings. And then you have like 7 Morphlings.
So many Morphlings.
Well, 6, whatever, but still, it's a lot.
That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah. They've continued to control this triangle during all the time, too.
And I like what my control's doing, right? Pushing it bottom lane, making sure the Dream doesn't have easy access to like tier 2 middle. Bottom lane, no cut the way.
Not being allowed to play the draft the way they want to at all anymore. Now the map is completely closed on them. What they want to the ones actually in this position where they're the ones forced to get that without showing anything. It's actually just Enigma doing it themselves now.
That's like the worst place for Naga to be is in her own base, pushing out wave with illusions.
These Morphling illusions. Look at them go. Top wave. All right, 3 Morphlings and clear that one out. And now it's
look at the damage they do.
Yeah, it's actually pretty insane.
Is that what John? I don't know. I'm thinking, like, is it worth buying diffuse blade on Morphling when you bring a target something like this? Get even more damage out.
He does need.
No point in deviating from what works.
Yeah. Dream is getting out to the side of the map, getting close to getting into the map perhaps eventually, but it really feels like this Viper in particular, Afterlife, his game has been just disappearing. He's been where he's been, right? Look at the Viper, man.
I don't know.
After laning phase, he had this excellent game, but he's just a box. He's a pop, he's an 8-toe, but he's 3-2-3. He's part of 6 out of the 50 kills of the map.
Yeah, it feels like it comes back to that kind of 13 to 16, 17 window where you know, the Knicks and the Storm are grouping up as a pair, and everyone else, again, a wider map, giving themselves as targets for Enigma. Maybe got us 4 or tried to group up a little bit more and left the Naga alone. And kind of got a bit more out of the map as Dream. Oh, does have a bit of backup here around her. The Saskin, the real speaker, splash going in off the Dream. The Son of Sun not going to help you.
Just dead.
Dead to Miracle with a double kill on the ball flank.
As we said, want to watch this game. 19 of their kills are because of
really?
He is 19 out of 23 kills. His blinker came super early too, and he literally has been reading the map perfectly so far this game. This on point level 17, same level as off lane Mars. Yeah,
he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Up in the faces of Gambit, and again we make this move as Enigma, right? Straight down mid for the tier 3.
And Miracle, he's illusions, got Mantas. Once the Naga comes up, he's gonna have illusions. This game is to the impossible now.
Oh jeez. Yeah, tier 3 barracks that you see exist. Disappearing under that structural damage from Enigma up towards the top tier 3 as well. And Gambit, well, they need to pull something out of their hat here. Something drastic has to happen to stop the onslaught, stop the bleeding. Kisses will delay this inevitable racks to kill the illusion in their own fault. They got him.
They got the illusions, but the racks. Oh, it actually survives 80 HP. Okay. That deals bad. Kisses to kill some illusions.
And Roshan's alive. Perfect timing for Enigma here. And I mean, it's a move that gets what to make towards right. Can they get fast enough?
I mean, they're gonna have to try.
Already dead.
Oh no.
They're moving across as
They're in position.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get strapped up. He toss 2 and it goes back control with the arena rebuke. Spear trying to aim onto the Viper. So netted though, so the Tusk will fall. But Age is already gathered up by Miracle, and the Song used defensively here while Rage and BKB Siren forcing the man to any kind of illusions to play around with, but Dream's going to get chased down here. Even emitted. Yes, for a nice cookie as well. BZZ buys the space. That's Dream. He does escape. Hey dear. And Kuroki's on BZZ.
He's trying to get the wave. He wants to kill before they can actually push. That way. Oh, he cookies backward.
Oh, he's going to kill Kurus. Oh, saved by the Spear. In comes the counter from Enigma.
He tried. It was a good effort.
Good idea. Not working out for him though.
Again, every time it's just they're getting jumped up. Which does eventually die this time, but he did his job. He gave all information for his team to get the perfect jumps on the heroes. Now, into the base to finish off that Rex. That was 80 HP. And an AC as well on ILTW. And of course, we didn't mention because it's been getting kind of quick, but he gets one of the better items versus Naga 2. Call a Life Stealer, so that's great. They can extend this game. Not unlikely though.
They're on tier 4s yet. A glyph out from Gambit. Try and get the Sapphire. She'll have kisses when she reaches. It's just a struggle to see what exactly Gambit can do to start for and fight to the point at which they can get more than just 1 kill. Because Enigma have so much.
I mean, they're defending. They do something.
They're going to try. I mean, Enigma take game against Gambit. It's a good draft from Gambit to the depths, but Enigma with a momentum from that victory against Vichy Gaming really shows as Mars AA in particular.
Yeah. messed up, right? The Nyx Assassin not getting that stun to cover versus that Orchid timing. Dream also getting caught while they're making a smoke movement at the same time. There's just a couple things there that really crumbled Enigma to take advantage of.
I think the power's ready, so back to you, Rich.
Yeah, and it comes down to some of those crucial timings is really what we heard from Fog. And I kind of want to break down just a little bit more what we saw from these two teams, because it did look like that initial advantage that Gambit maybe had from the draft. They had a really solid draft. They start off really well, but ultimately Enigma finds some of the cracks in their plans. All of a sudden, they completely take over that game, Lacoste.
Yeah, I think Dream bit overextending a couple of times on Naga Siren, not playing with the team. Viper had a really good laning stage at the start. After the 10-minute mark, like Viper, nowhere to be seen. He just completely falls off. I think also lack of the defensive item on both of the supports. They didn't have any. They were trying to get a 4-staff. What they needed to do, like on paper, for what the lineup that they got is go in and out, because you have Mana Bird from the Diffusal Blade, you have Mana Bird from Nyx Assassin, both Life Stealer and the Morphling they don't like to play into. They needed to reset. They had the song, like the execution was also not on point multiple times. Naga Siren song into pretty much nothing. There's no real follow-up. They need to get the quick in and out, maybe buy back on 4 and 5, because there's like nothing they can do. This Morphling was completely popping off once he gets that E-Blade. He had timing on Mantis style to get rid of those silences. It's just that Gambit kind of crumbled in this game. I would still, like, after how the game was played, I still prefer their draft.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to note as we look at some of these key moments in the game. You just heard it from Lacoste, you heard it from Fods a little while ago as well. It really comes down to just a few of those openings that Gambit gives to Enigma. Enigma's able to take advantage of those mistakes and grab complete control of the game. Now, AUI, before we actually jumped into this game, you mentioned you wanted to really keep your eyes on GH. He was going to be someone that you were going to be paying attention to. What did you see from GH in this game?
No, I think GH is one of the reasons why Enigma's draft ended up working really well. I mean, honestly, there are two things I think that I thought about the draft poorly. One was that I think this Viper ended up being really hard to itemize and play against the Mars and the AA. The combination of those two good. You can't really force that to reset the AA out because you're just in an arena. And you can't itemize how you want to with like a mechanism and like Glimmer and tank through the enemy team, because AA Blast just nullifies all of that. And on the other side, as you mentioned, like GH, he was just playing like a god. Every single time they tried to kill a key hero Enigma, he was always there buying time. And I thought the fights were going to go where Enigma were the ones who would try to burst and reset. But because of the Tuskar, they were able to take like these slightly longer fights and get multiple rounds of spells off. He just made the game.
I think Enigma's general understanding what needs to be done has improved quite a lot. Like we see quite a lot of infest saves coming out from the Lifestealer when they try to go on a target. LTW did it multiple times in a row. Just some beautiful stuff. Also the itemization. Once again, they're not going for anything greedy, just standard stuff. Like that's what they wanted in the game 2 against Vici Gaming, and one more time in this one, Lifestealer going for that Maelstrom / Mjolnir, upgraded more damage against the illusions. There's some good stuff from Team Enigma.
Yeah, and also a lot of momentum now that they're going to be starting to grab here, especially if they manage to grab the next game. If you're just tuning in right now, do want you to keep in mind it's going to be all best of 2s here for this wild card. Only 2 of the teams going to make it out. Enigma's starting off with one of the harder matchups that they were going to have a little bit earlier today for the 4th series of the day against Vici. They managed to take the second game of that series, and now they managed to take the first here against Gambit. But Gambit already, I think, overperforming a little bit for what most people expected to see from them. Still not looking bad in this one either. Definitely wasn't free for Enigma. What do you want to see as far as tweaks go, AUI, when we actually do get into the second game for Gambit?
Well, I think Gambit's lineup, like in theory, it can be really good this game. But how you have to execute that line is basically like you have a lot more lane shove. Like it's a lineup I think Secret would win with, because they're really good at like using their lane shove to control the map and get pickoffs and good team fights off that. The problem is that's something that you have to build up over time, because like one of your players will shove a wave, and that's reflecting communication and teamwork that what this means for everyone in the game. They have to adjust their gameplay to that. they have 2 stand-ins, and it's really hard to play like that.
Yeah, just not enough time.
Yeah, I would really like to see them just play a nice timing lineup. The game they won, they had Morphling Willow. You get the Morphling Willow, you get Blood Rage, you go win the game. It worked really well. They're really good players. They can pull this off. They can compete with anyone. But high execution, it's hard right now.
Yeah, you talk about some of those execution problems that you might run into, and ultimately, yeah, you have those 2 stand-ins. One of the things that you brought up is like, okay, maybe these players have something to prove. Maybe they're going to get this resurgence, this honeymoon period, all these things that sometimes happen early on in a tournament. But then you go up against Nigma when they're looking like this as well. I mean, one of the other things that I heard Fog talking about was just Kuro and Vision throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah, if we talk about Vision, what SA Gambit needed to do is jump this stuff, because he was the one just prolonging the team fight, so many snowball saves. Same goes for Infest. You don't think about it that much, but Infest is actually an insane saving tool instead of just going in with the Infest bomb, and that's what they did. They just prolonged the team fights. The save potential was there. GH was popping off. Overall, very satisfied. Coming into this tournament, Nigma looked shaky, but man, they look crisp. Even after losing game 1 against Vici Gaming, it was still a very competitive game. So they have this momentum as well. So I'm not really worried for them coming into the game number 2.
Yeah, it's starting to feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah, if you're sitting here as a fan of them as well, which we know there are definitely a lot of fans watching. After that last vote, it was 95% in favor of Team Nigma.
Chat is super smart. If you have any questions about the mechanics or anything, just type it in chat. You'll get 6 different answers. Just pick one.
But all be correct.
Yeah, problem.
You're good.
That's how I've learned everything that I know. I mean, just think about it this way: if every single person in chat has 1 IQ, the cumulative IQ is 50,000.
That's a lot of IQ.
That's a lot of IQ. A little bit of NA math there, that was very quick. That was very quick math. I just added up 1 multiple times, and we might see another 1 get added right now to the scorecard here for Team Nigma as they go up against Gambit. Again, the question is, what's going to change in this second game? Let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that some of the patterns that we started to see coming out from Team Nigma now that we've seen 3 games from them in a row.
Yeah, I think something important that Poppy talked about during the last major was hero pairings, how he tried to break up the certain hero pairings. I think for Team Nigma right now, what I'm seeing, it's a small pattern, but AA plus something that can keep them in place. Mars 2 times in a row. Maybe you need to ban out one of these 2. Just try to split them up.
Yeah, just try to target the pairing instead of going that.
You don't necessarily need to ban both of these heroes. It's just split them. Easy math. You ban one of these 2, 50% of the strat down the drain. Big math. Yeah.
Really solid number. Yeah, really solid number.
I agree though. I think that A is a problem. I think how Nigma plays, the reason why Gambit couldn't split up the map and try to make their plays is because they were just so quick on killing them. Anytime they saw something, A and Tusker were there and it just blew up a hero.
You brought that up the second you saw the AA as well.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
He ruins all my games in pubs, so...
Yeah. That was one of the first things I think you actually said when we started the draft off, just the AA is really going to change the entire course of this draft. So maybe that's something we will see as we get into the second game. Maybe the AA is going to get a little bit of attention. Also, though, Nyx was something that we talked about.
Yeah, maybe not the best Nyx performance. Late couple of times in the team fights. Overall, pretty much the same thinking as you go for AA, where carry players, they don't like to play against mana burn, against invis heroes, something that can stun you off. So pretty much a similar concept for both of these heroes, and you might need to get rid of one of those. What was banned out in the first game? Was it Io?
Io for sure was Nigma. I think every team always first bans out for them. I'm not sure on the other one. I won't mention though for the next, I thought he was looking pretty decent in the early game, right?
He did.
And then GH he ruined his life. And then he put the fear into him. He couldn't go for the extra plays. Because I think there was a 5-minute time span where GH just played him twice and then he ran his sentry and died. And now he's all scared to make
He's he's in my head right now. What do? I can't land an Impale. There's 2 heroes here, Impale right in the middle. Yeah, it gets into your head.
Yeah, it is important to really remember the entire course of that game, too, because, like you said, Gambit, they look great in the draft. You even Lacoste when we sat down on the panel. We're like, still like this draft, even after the execution of
the execution. They needed to be like quick, in and out, get one pick off, and then reset, go in again. And they had the heroes to do so. Like you have pretty much the two best of pick off heroes in the game. You have Nick. Assassin, you have Storm Spirit, pretty easy to set things up.
Yeah, but it was like a very clinical execution as well on the side of Team Enigma. You talk about getting inside of the opponent's head as well. When we enter that second game, now it's even scarier for Gambit. What are they going to be able to do? I think, it's a term that a lot of the analysts like to say time and time again, but I feel like we're in a situation here where they're going to be looking for just ease of execution in their draft.
And ease of execution usually means like strong lanes into strong team fight. Because if you get these two things going, like honestly, usually your draft plays yourself. Like Nigma's lineup, they do have like okay lanes last game, and they have like a Mars, which makes them look like they have team fight. But the reason why they're able to execute is like how fast their supports and coordinate with their cores to move around the map. Like that's actually not that easy execution. I think they're just really good at playing that style.
For sure. And we will be seeing pretty soon here this second game and try to figure out who is going to be able to pull ahead. This is a lot of momentum.
It is, but I want to talk about something important, the style, Rich. You're as a fashion icon. What do you think? Sandals and the socks? How do you feel about it?
It's like,
if I go to a club, will they let me in? If I go to a fine restaurant, will they let me in?
You know what?
It's not in my restaurant.
A lot of people are going to get really angry and chat about this. But it's the age of the Crocs again. Crocs with socks. Crocs with socks.
Crocs with socks.
Crocs with socks. That is the pinnacle of fashion right now for the summer. I am the proud owner of like 7 pairs of Crocs.
7 pairs. Yeah. What about swimming Crocs? Is that a thing?
Swimming Crocs?
Yeah, something like that you wear on the beach. Like if you don't like algae.
Why would you go to the beach now? There's a section on Twitch you can just go to. You don't have to go all the way to the beach.
Sure.
There's a digital beach now. So you don't have to wear Crocs.
You're too smart for me.
You don't have to wear Crocs or anything. Yeah, trust me. I've been doing my research. I've been gone for a year. I've had
Not
a
for
lot of
Dota, but for some other stuff.
For everything.
How long are your days, Rich? Like 30, 36 hours?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, around 32 hours. NA math, but around 32 hours. Yeah, it was actually the hardest thing about coming back to hosting that I completely forgot about
is working with us.
You,
Yeah, in particular.
yeah, just you. No, jet lag. I'm just not used to it. I used to just never get jet lag. Knew what to do. I was sleeping like 14 hours a day when I got here. Just could not regulate my sleep at all, and I just forgot about that difficulty. And I wonder if for a lot of the players they feel that as well, because they came here early.
For me personally, they like around
and they had stuff
6,
to
7
do.
days.
But if you're not used to it, it gets you. Like I
Because you
came here-
forget.
Yeah, I forgot completely. I woke up, apparently I went to sleep. I sent our talent manager like some angry frogs on WhatsApp by accident. Like I was like sleepwalking or something.
Angry frog.
So I literally sent our manager like 4 angry Pepe emotes. It was crazy. I don't remember doing it.